JBL tells us quite kindly that dinosaurs are dangerous. Cheers, JBL. You don't fuck with a dinosaur, battle.
Watch out for those stegosaurus in battle.
Hello, and welcome back to the only wrestling podcast that exclusively rebooks, reviews, and reimagines the worst of wrestling's past. We are Better Call Creative, and as ever, I am joined to my left by Bootista, Sam Chance.
Hello.
By Bluetista, Jack Chance.
Hello.
And by Baldtista.
Yeah.
Yes.
That wasn't a thing. I decided it should have been a thing by the end of it. Baldtista should have been hashtagged.
What about Drax? Jax?
Sorry, Sam. Was that not up to my usual standard of last minute thought?
I think you're better through by that
ruined this whole
But if that doesn't give you an idea of who we are reviewing today, we are heading back.
Should have just said deal with it.
Deal with it. We are heading back to 2014 and
what a year.
Well, it isn't the most recent return, but the previous most recent return of Dave Batista to WWE. Have you enjoyed checking out 2014's WWE, Sam?
Oh, it was just like...
It
was hard. Oh, it was hard.
40-minute matches!
It took me 3 goals to get through this.
We ain't used to long matches on this podcast.
Jesus! Especially when you're going after like NWO and all this stuff, where there's a running after 6.
We used to Sandman Tommy Collier. We were all ready for this.
Jack, you enjoyed checking out an era not long past?
There's parts of it, yes. But there's
that before he enters the Rumble?
Well, basically, there's sort of...
Was that the 19th of January 2014?
When the clock hit 0 and number 28 went down, then it went downhill after that.
Yeah. I know what bit you probably enjoyed the most, which is the start of his theme.
I enjoyed his theme.
Yeah!
I love that.
It does bring a smile to your face.
It does a bit.
Never before has a band loved themselves so much. Yeah, listen to us.
Also brings a ring into your ears.
It does. But yes, we are heading back to January 20th. Exactly 7 years from today, if you were listening to it on the day that this podcast is out. So, what was the world like in 2014?
Much happier place.
Yes. Christmas, you could see your family.
People were allowed to move.
Yeah. UK number 1, not indicative of 2020, is Happy. By
Pharrell.
Oh, nice. And nothing else, Sam, is called Happy.
Yeah, that's why
I had to suffer it where I worked. At that time, they just kept playing it.
Yeah. Was you happy?
No. The more I heard, the sadder I got.
I know, though, what you will link to the next song that I'm about to say, which was topping the US US number 1 chart in the charts was Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus. What do you instantly think of?
Joe Henry.
No. Is this a certain immortal man's bottom?
Oh,
It is Hulk Hogan. Surely that is the first thought you have when you hear
no, considering this morning I watched the Joe Henry entrance, so that was
I always think of Hogan's Hulk. Just in general.
Not just with the song either.
I like the fact.
Have you been watching that Gorka tape by any chance? What do you do?
That'll be a weird podcast. Are you going to rebook that? I wouldn't do it, brother.
I gotta go over, brother.
Topping the box office was Wolf of Wall Street, which is what Dave Batista was dressed like when he left.
Yeah, weird transformation.
His dress sense all the way through this was phenomenal.
Strange.
His head changed as well, maybe.
He was a different man at the end than what he started.
You've changed me in these 5 months.
The WWE magazine, anyone want to hazard a guess? 2014, it was on the front of the WWE.
Was it Batista?
No. Kids friendly magazine in it.
Del Rio.
Johnny Boy Cena. Del Rio. Can't put him on the front.
I'd drop you out
in the work, leaving it. Thanks, Del.
Don't worry, he can't come after us. He's probably in prison by now. Doing a cross-arm breaker on a ward.
Oh dear. And the world of sport.
Is that still running?
Yeah. What happened? Sam Allardyce.
No.
West Bromwich Albion played Everton at home in 2014 under Pepe Mel. Do you remember what that score was, Jack? It was an evening match.
Definitely they win.
No, we didn't. But it was the season where the week before we drew with Liverpool 1-1, where Colo Touré passed the ball to.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Did we draw 1-1?
We did draw 1-1. Do you remember the goal scorer?
Oh no, it was Amalfitano.
It was Diego Lugano.
Oh my God, it was I remember it now. It's the Monday night.
It was. Me and Jack went up to that game, and if you knew who Lugano was, you would understand.
Oh, I love that goal though.
Liverpool had a great season. They only dropped a couple of points at the back end of the season. This was one week.
This was what we dropped. Was it against Crystal Palace?
No, they drew with their kryptonite from this season, 2-2 with Aston Villa.
Oh, fucking Villa.
At least you didn't concede those extra 5 goals you did this year.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yep, so there you go, and there you have it. But Jack...
Don't say you ain't played the Villa yet.
That's true.
You might concede 8.
Oh, God. Jack, I believe you have a poll for us.
I do. 4 albums.
It's in the garden.
Well, that's it all about.
It's all about from when Batista was born. His birthday.
How old is Batista?
Day.
60s? Must have been in the 60s.
Do you want to guess?
I'm going 66.
January 18th, 1969.
69.
Don't you do this for Shango as well?
Yes, I did, yeah.
These just the same album.
We weren't born on the same day. That would have been weird, wouldn't it?
Shango and Batista.
From that time, like, they just go with the Shango album. Right, you've got Bayou Country by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Do you know any Creedence Clearwater Revival songs, Sam?
No. I know the name.
He's not voting for that. Move on.
I vote.
Soul 69 by Aretha Franklin.
Oh, give him some soul music in there.
Well, it's from that time.
It
So
is.
I've got it, well.
Yeah.
I can't cheat.
No.
Go on, just
We've got to pick a different poll instead of...
Yeah, but I called it
1969, Justin Bieber.
That one's so easy. Next one, Caravan by Caravan.
Oh, don't know Caravan. Do you know
Psychedelic rock. Oh, a bit of acid pop. Bit of stoner rock. And then lastly,
Led Zeppelin
by Led Zeppelin.
You're joking. He's a Wolves fan.
I know, yeah.
He's going to vote for
Robert Plant.
Oh dear.
Because he is a plant.
He is definitely a plant.
He's a plant.
He's a plant.
Is he going to get beat up by Batista?
He's going to attack Hogan. Yeah! He's going to attack Hogan with a handbag.
That's a plant with a cane!
But if you want to drop a vote on which of those albums you would like to see Jack review on our website, do so now. It's at BCCPOD on Twitter. Give us a follow and a like there. And again, the reviews themselves are housed on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com. Are we ready, Jack? Yeah!
Let's walk for miles in this pit of danger.
How long is this thing?
I think
Don't we have a discussion about this?
No one follows him. He walks alone in that pit of danger for miles. Where is this pit of danger?
So does he chew up and spit out though if no one follows him?
Even these people talking out their ends or their arse, I don't know what he means, what he says.
Oh dear. So yeah, I think
Joey Scott, what are you on about?
the last time we saw Batista was on the TNA episode where we was reviewing
Oh, what did I walk? Because he quit.
Not long ago. Did he help you his whole career?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But he does make a bit of a statement on one of these, though. He says, I never quit anything in my life. And one of my notes says, 2010.
Yeah, he does at the end.
Yeah.
He literally ends the podcast by quitting.
All you do is quit.
But yeah,
Duct tape. Are you kidding me?
I believe that they're already hyped up the return, haven't they? Before we get to...
I think it's because it leaked so that he was going to be in the Rumble. So they hyped it instead. They thought, we'll get ahead of it by hyping it with promos, and then he obviously comes out on our first show.
It's fun, isn't it, wrestling nowadays with the internet knowing more than...
Ruining everything.
Yeah. So we're back in the glory days of the Authority once again. I hate, and I mean, I know a lot of people shit on the Authority gimmick, and I kind of get the evil boss gimmick, but I hate the fact that they don't know whether they're heel or face at the start of any promo that they do. I don't know whether they're supposed to be face, I don't know whether they're supposed to be heel, but here they look a bit sort of face-like as they build up the Royal Rumble match. And they do the build for Batista, but we're interrupted by the world champion, Randy Two Belts Orton. He's got 2 belts at this time. When did that?
TLC 2013.
So it had been a thing for about a couple of months at this point.
1 month. December TLC. So they combined them there.
Orton is furious with him, but again, Steph acts all face and stands up to him in a convoluted plug for the WWE Network. How she managed to bring that back to the WWE Network, I have no idea.
I forgot about that.
You're having a go at me? We've got a network! Which is mal. We get sent to footage of Kofi beating Orton last week and his attack on Papa Cena. Steph dresses him down, issuing him a threat to fire him. Orton gets drained out by Batista chants. Then Triple H turns into Angry Dad, tells him to drop his voice. Drop your voice. Sends him to bed. He plays all good cop, saying he believes in him, but Orton has lost faith in himself. Fires him up with about the line of superstars behind John Cena, and he needs to be a man and fix himself up. Triple H books a rematch for tonight against Kofi Kingston, but it's interrupted by... Now, the obvious question with Dave Batista walking out is who the hell dressed Dave Batista for this return?
I think it's more like, who the hell is this?
What is he dressed like? He is a millionaire actor. He's dressed in some baby jeans and the worst looking sports top I have ever seen in my life.
Good Lord.
Batista is back. It's milk for every single second as the fans chant Batista. Batista kisses the mat and then hugs the Authority. Again,
face or heel.
But surely that in itself, if they're trying to book him as a strong dominant face who's going to be headlining WrestleMania, the last thing you would want him to do is hug the people who have been the main heels for the company.
Don't worry,
oh dear. Orton offers his hand. Batista opens up with a... Obviously. Hello, Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Well, get out. He cuts a short promo telling Orton he's back for the world title. He doesn't care who wins the belt at Royal Rumble. He's back to headline WrestleMania. What does he round out the promo with, Sam?
So deal with it.
Deal with it. Deal with it.
What a gimmick.
And yeah,
give me what I want. Oh my god, that's 2019, eh?
Before I get your thoughts on that, he does appear later on in the show after Rey Mysterio versus Alberto Del Rio 9. After Rey gets tapped out by Del Rio, Cole reminds us that he's been mouthing off at Batista for a while, so Batista
on Twitter.
Out. Yeah, Del Rio.
Twitter booked a lot of stuff at this point.
He booked this angle. Del Rio tries a cheap shot, but his spine busted. Batista bomb. Well, power bomb because his jeans are far too tight to do a Batista bomb. And Batista does the Thanos snap. Well before Thanos. Deal with it! Deal with it!
Okay, I have.
Batista's back. Thoughts? Discuss, Sam.
Why? What? Had he been in Guardians of the Galaxy yet?
No.
Filmed it. It was coming out in the summer. That was why he was back to.
To plug it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he come out in like his Drax
I
attire?
appreciate he'd come out as a tree. Yeah.
Or as Rocky. Is it Rocky the little raccoon?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Raccoon.
I just don't get it. That shouldn't have announced it.
No.
If it was a surprise, I don't think it would have been half as bad.
Even
But the fact it got leaked.
Yeah. But even if it is leaked, you can still not announce
Not
it.
have him come
Still
out.
would be more impactful to people
Him
if they're
still
thinking he's going to
second
come.
guessing.
Yeah, you don't know when he's going to come out, do you? So, Jack?
Coming soon, Batista to the Royal Rumble.
Great. That was great. Promo, meh. yeah, we've been good on the mic.
No,
So after 3 years off it, he struggled a little
It's a bit
bit.
goofy, eh?
Deal with it. And then beating up Del Rio was okay, even though he couldn't do his move because he had tight jeans on, which is like a Hogan. I can no longer do the leg drop. I must do a clothesline move. So it was a bit meh.
I think
Really?
the issue mainly I had is obviously it is disappointed because his promo was shit. But they'd given 15 minutes at the start to bring back Batista and gave 12 minutes of that to just an Randy Orton Authority promo.
Yeah.
So it just felt like it was, Batista's back and the Authority and Orton have got
It was
issues.
an afterthought.
So he's already an afterthought. I wonder if he'll continue to be an afterthought. We'll see. We head to the Royal Rumble match, and this is Royal Rumble 2014, for those keeping up on the network. We didn't, and you'll understand why later in the 40-minute match review that we do. We didn't review the whole Royal Rumble match. We picked it up from spot 20. Spot 20 is...
Oh, this amazed me. I was like, what's going on here?
When they come up, it's a 20.
I thought it was Cesaro, but it wasn't. It was, first of all, I was confused because it was the Los Matadores.
Yes.
Now I was thinking, well, which Los Matadores was in the Royal Rumble?
Considering when it panned to it and he went to the time run at the top, he said El Torito.
Oh dear. Yeah, well, El
I knew
Torito.
I knew he was in it anyway, but even if I hadn't watched it, I knew because it tells you at the top, El Torito.
Who thought this was a good idea? In the ring, we have The Miz, Fandango, Sheamus, CM Punk, and all three members of the Shield. El Torito takes out pretty much everyone, and then he eliminates Fandango.
I was going to say, out of all them, who's got a job to the little ball?
He beat Jericho the year before.
Yeah, the last time we saw Fandango on this podcast, he beat Jericho.
Yeah.
The next time, he's out
By a little ball.
In less than a year.
Roman Reigns continues his run of eliminations as he power slams him over the top, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah.
And he's up to 6. Cesaro is 21. Does
5.5.
Does his big swing spot, which he does pretty much in every Royal Rumble. Does it on the Miz, then Punk, then Rollins. The Rollins one lasts at least 40 seconds. Luke Harper is out next, so the crowd can take a breather because nothing really happened. Now, 23rd spot is Jey Uso, trading uppercuts by Harper and Cesaro. And as the commentary team discussed JBL's factoids, number 24 is JBL. He stands up from the desk and in the most... I mean, I don't mind surprises, but when the spot can be seen from row Z behind a pylon, JBL bends over the top rope.
Did you hear what Cole said as well? That the JBL character has never been in the Raw Rumble.
Yeah.
Is that true as well?
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
But obviously Bradshaw.
Bradshaw had.
So he stands up from the desk, hands his coat to Cole, Roman Reigns dumps him out. 25 is Eric Rowan. Combination of Harper and Rowan deal with The Miz, who's out, and then Jay...
Did you hear that you still got it, Chad, when JBL went out?
Yeah, brilliant. I like that.
See, that's the time the Chad works.
Brilliant. Can get dumped out of the top.
Yeah.
The spot between the Wyatts and the Shield, though, is extremely mistimed because it gets interrupted by Sam's favourite.
Oh, yes.
It's Ryback.
Oh.
He spoils everything. He spoiled that moment.
And the next one.
And the next one. And the next one.
Goldberg.
Actually, I think everything just ruined them.
You might have to tell me then, because I don't think I had it.
There's a Cesaro and Sheamus spot.
The tough
where
guy
they
spot.
face off.
Yeah.
And then Ryback starts getting in the middle and starts fighting one of them. And I'm like, fuck off!
He's
the spot! You moron!
Is Ryback a villain at this point?
I don't care.
I think he's face at this point.
Because he calls Rollins stupid.
I think he's face, and then he turns heel with Curtis Axel doing as Ryback.
later on, yeah.
Number 27 is
And
Del
then he
Rio.
turns face again at the end of the year, though. He's on Team Cena when Sting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you read that book, I think.
We've seen it. Del Rio is out in the 27th spot. It gets a bigger
Back
build.
from the school
It
run.
gets a bigger build than Del Rio, doesn't it? The spot.
Well-
Number 27 is more important
Yeah,
than
the
Del Rio.
wrestler.
But don't worry about it, it's only him.
The crowd are really, really flat and losing hope. So, 28 is... Yeah! Wearing French knickers. It's Dave Batista. He's already lost the crowd because he gets booed
I
straight
couldn't
away.
believe that. I thought, well, that's a bit odd.
Yeah, that
he
is-
ain't done anything yet.
That is really harsh.
But he booed him.
Rowan goes out. Ryback is tosses Batista around only to get dumped out himself.
Oh, boo.
Del Rio gets a bit of offense before being dumped out as well. Number 29 is a very, very well-oiled Big E. Extremely oily. The crowd are now demanding the 30 spot is Daniel Bryan. So in true WWE fashion of giving the fans what they want, number 30 is Rey Mysterio, who gets the most negative reaction. I felt
Poor Rey.
so hard. That
his
is so harsh to Ray, that is. And he
That's
gets cheered when he gets thrown out.
Yes.
Why don't they give it to
Del Rio.
Del Rio or
Yeah.
something, the big heel?
Yeah, at least I'm going to get the heat on him. Yeah, I agree. It's so badly booked. They must have known at this point. I knew at this point when I was
Everybody
watching it
knew.
Yeah.
that it was the wrong thing to do. Anyway, Ray and Punk try and get some close call spots to get the crowd back into it, but there's no doing. Sheamus eliminates Big E. There's just now a low rumbling of a din of booze. There's like, boo.
Everybody's like,
It was Motley.
lots of Motleys in the crowd.
Rollins eliminates Ray and gets popped for that. I mean, Ray's the blame.
Shut up, Ray! You bastard!
You booked it.
Oh dear. Dean Ambrose tries to get a sneaky elimination on Roman Reigns, but ends up getting dumped out with Cesaro and Rollins. CM Punk rallies and hits GTSs to everyone. And what other thing could you do to lose the crowd? Eliminating CM Punk is a wild corporate cane.
Is he turned up in half? What happened? Just got his trousers on.
It's because he was in the Rumble at number
Terrible,
5 and got
terrible
knocked out
look.
fairly early. And I don't know where he come from.
From under the ring, I think.
He weren't allowed to attack wrestlers unless it was in a match. He was no longer in the match, but still attacked a wrestler, and that was allowed.
I was in it at one point.
So the three men
The
that are
match
left,
is still going on.
the three men that are left are Batista, Sheamus, and Roman. The crowd are now completely turned on the match. There's no chance. Roman Reigns eliminates Sheamus after he's battled with Batista. And in a first and last time, the crowd is now completely desperate for Roman Reigns to win a match. Terrible spear on Roman Reigns by Batista. That catches him around the kneecap. But a better one by Reigns. A reversal spot sees Batista dump Roman Reigns over the top rope, and Bootista is born and heading to WrestleMania.
Deal with it.
Tries desperately to point without being angry at the crowd reaction.
Yeah!
You should have done that. I'd have cheered him at that point.
Everything will be alright now, he's just done his chant.
Yeah.
Jack.
Well, you know.
He's dead.
Poor Batista. Don't blame him per se. It is a silly thing to have him winning anyway, but you've got a white hot babyface and you're bringing him in as a babyface.
The Royal
He's
Rumble.
never ever going to beat him.
The Royal Rumble has to be won by the person who's the most over. It
Well,
always
he's got
has
to
to
make
be.
some money.
Yeah. If it's not, what's the point? What is the point? If you don't give the Rumble to the hottest stuff. Imagine if Austin was getting really, really hot in 1998 and they bought that King Kong Bundy.
Get him the honky tonk.
He was over before.
Honk is back!
Yeah!
Oh, God.
That is the equivalent though, because this is
No,
the
I know,
same price. And then
Well, maybe not honky.
maybe not honky, but it is an equivalent to say that if Hogan had come back and they'd have given him over Austin, the crowd would have turned.
Well,
Maybe not
Brutus. Somebody who was not quite the top babyface, but was quite a.
I'm not having Batista as Brutus speaker. Can't have that. Poor Batista.
He's going to be really stop all.
Yeah, I can't think of an equivalent sort of top level babyface, but maybe a Ultimate Warrior or Luger or something.
There you go, Luger.
Jack. Sam, sorry, what do you think of that?
All I pray is they don't make the same mistake again the next year.
Check out our podcast.
Yeah, little plug there.
Check out 2015's Royal Rumble in the archives.
Did you watch WWE? Not learn from
Did you like Ryback's part in it though? Because I felt happy when Ryback came out. Because I obviously don't know. You know more. You remember
that?
I don't remember most of this. I knew El Torito and stuff was in it, and Roman broke the record and what have you. But when I heard his music, I was like,
I got so happy. I had a bit
and then
smile.
even Batista having the face on, and him nearly getting killed, throwing out in his face. I was like, ha! No,
I was so happy when Ryback came in.
and I was going, oh, we eliminated 6 men. I thought, how was he runner-up the year before?
I've just put that it is easy to blame bad booking and say, it was bad booking, but the return, not just take Bryan out the picture. The return is so weak. The build last week was weak. This is weak. You know who's going to win it. You've had a year-long arc of Bryan reaching the point where fans love him. I mean, it probably isn't the worst Royal Rumble ever. In just take everything out without the fans. It's not the worst Royal Rumble. But when you add in how much the fans hated this has got to be a contender for the worst Royal Rumble.
Oh, it has, definitely.
Purely
if you have the whole story is built around Bryan for the year, and then he's not even in the match. He fought Bray in a one-on-one earlier in the show.
And there was building. Originally, the plan was for him to fight Sheamus.
Yeah. I've read his book. That was supposed to be him v Sheamus for the US, I think, again.
Where was that going to be built? And the point...
Because they was pulled the year before, were they? Oh, they had the 10-second
They had the 10-second match, and then it turned into a battle royal that Carly won.
The build as well that also happened in this was the Punk Triple H match.
Yeah.
And that was terribly built as well. So everything that they did...
Shirtless Kane for me.
It was awful.
His trouser things, his work trousers.
Don't worry, we can't get any more confused. Then, having in the Authority era, we have a GM of Raw, and that is Brad Maddox. We go forward to January 27th. Is that the most pointless GM? What is the point in having a GM that isn't a GM because you can't really do anything because you've got an authority?
I get it with the Authority and the GM, and he's just the puppet. But I mean, he ain't a very strong character to really do anything.
I think it would be better if the Authority played the we're trying to be nice and let him be the bad guy. But they are obviously the villains, so it doesn't matter if they are.
Well, they never do anything. He never does anything face anyway.
So what is
Plus,
the point?
no one gives a shit. It's Brad Maddox.
Jesus. He introduces our world champion, Randy Orton. Randy Orton cuts a promo reminding us that he beat Cena yet again at the Rumble for the 57th time. He's pissed off about defending his title in the Elimination Chamber. Must admit, don't really understand that logic. You're handpicked by the Authority. I don't understand. Shouts at Brad until Batista interrupts him. His casual clothes at this point are getting stranger because now he looks like part of him is Liam Gallagher and the bottom part of him is Ryland.
What a hybrid.
Didn't quite understand the look. He points to a Bootista sign in the crowd. Oh, own it, obviously.
Just laugh a little bit.
Now stop with that shit.
I'm a face, damn it.
He doesn't care who he faces in the Superdome. He doesn't care. There's nothing going to change it. He doesn't care. He's winning the belt. He doesn't care, and he's winning the belt at WrestleMania. Pretty much is word for word what he said.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Brock Lesnar interrupts this nonsense shouting. Paul Heyman finally gives some credibility to the promo. Cuts a promo directed at Brad Maddox. He explains Brock is losing patience. He either wants Orton tonight or Batista tonight, and basically gets neither because later on in the night he attacks. I think he attacks the Rhodes brothers after their match with the tag team champions of the time. That were.
The new age outlaws.
The new age outlaws.
Fucking hell.
Well, I'm still in it when we fucking watch the next Rumble. Jesus Christ.
They are, yeah, they're back.
The fuck?
2014 and 15 was pretty shit.
We didn't. I did try desperately with the amount of segments that we've had to try and cut out any that I thought was irrelevant. This really should have been cut, but we will talk about it.
But it should be relevant.
But it should be relevant because you've given credibility now to a storyline. What the hell was that? And out the three, which
Brock.
one was the most relevant?
Brock.
Brock was so over.
He's more over than the world title match.
We're going to fight.
Don't worry, they'll soon kill that. Come Mania.
But Batista not going all right. Then I'll have a fight. Yeah, makes him look more heelish because he doesn't look strong enough to stand at the.
If he's
What
supposed,
the hell you booked
supposed to be the animal, he should go half fight. Yeah, he's just sort of buggers off.
He should have singing once.
That's what he should
have just started singing once, like Eric Cantona.
That should have been it.
Pants. Moving forward, thankfully this is the shortest bit of the podcast roll from the 3rd of February. What a way to build on the huge amount of momentum that Batista now has. Double denim Batista at this point. Gets a much more mixed reaction, I'd say. That's the one good thing that you get from this promo is he's just about to speak. And Del Rio stops him being able to speak. Del Rio comes out, he mocks his promos lately and discusses their unfinished business. He calls him some Spanish dog or something.
Pero,
that's the dog.
Just Spanish for doggy.
Batista downplays having a problem.
This
This is the best bit though. This pretty much sums up this booking. Because Batista just goes, "Oh, yeah, okay. I'm alright with you.
I'm not got a problem with you."
Yeah, I'm alright with you. And then Del Rio keeps trying to poke him, prod him, and he basically puts over being there whilst Batista was at home waiting for a movie agent call. That's the wrong thing to say when you're trying to get the fans to care about someone. Don't remind them that he's not really a full-time wrestler.
Yeah.
Stupid. That gets cheers. Del Rio continues cussing out Batista, who again tries to brush him off until Alberto attacks.
I picked up your kids while you were waiting for a phone call.
And he escapes.
Never fully ever seen him again.
Anyone? I mean, I don't really understand Del Rio's main motivation for attacking because he didn't have long enough to explain other than
You're a pero. You're a balls.
Yeah.
You're a balls.
I'm just sick of Del Rio already.
But why would Del
Mexico's
Rio?
greatest Xbox battle.
Why would Del Rio as a heel give a shit about a bloke coming back from Hollywood?
Because he's got nothing to do until Mania, when he'll have nothing to do.
Anyone want to add anything?
I don't know why they're fighting.
When you see when they're fighting.
And I ain't going back through 6 years of Twitter to find out.
At one point, did one of them say something nasty to the other?
You're a pero. I got no issue with you. Let's fight!
Don't worry though, because it gets even.
Are you doing anything at the chamber?
Don't forget, we've got 2 more weeks to add some proper colour to this feud. We can add some real depth to it. So go forward to the 10th of February. After Del Rio has once again beaten Dolph Ziggler. And you can see our Dolph Ziggler, the podcast, to understand that reference. Del Rio locks in the armbar until Batista rushes out. The spear that he hits, again, is awful. He tosses Alberto Del Rio into the steps. Very vicious attack. Ends with Del Rio going through the announce desk. After this, there's a strange shot of... What I didn't understand is, when he walked up the aisle, and he just sort of looked down at the camera a bit, as if to say, like...
Was it the shifty dog from The Simpsons?
Why was he foreboding? Why was he worried? Why was he thinking, I wish I hadn't done that? I didn't understand.
I shouldn't have done that. He's a nice man.
I immediately regret this decision.
After this, Batista is confronted by Triple H, who tells him to cool it. He books a match between him and Del Rio and says he's looking out for him. Batista ends by saying, things have changed around here. He's looking after.
Great.
Okay.
Understand any of that other than the fact that we've now established that Batista is more powerful than Del Rio, which I already believed anyway, as he's eliminated him in the Royal Rumble.
Visually we can see that.
And visually we can see that. Any Anyone want to add anything to that?
Well, there's no credible threat from Del Rio, and there's no real direction with Batista as to am I cheering this man or not?
It is
I don't know.
Basically, we'd already booked Batista. He's already won the Rumble. He's going to Mania. We need something for him to do in the middle. We've booked too many dates. We can't just have him not appear.
But what I don't understand is that could have gone a lot of different ways. This is just the wrong way to go. I can spend the next 10 minutes telling you how this is terrible.
There was 15 different ways to go. 14 were right. One was wrong. They took the wrong one.
All the time. So we go forward now to Raw on the 17th of February. And again, this is the Raw before Elimination Chamber. Let's add some proper credibility to the feud. There's one segment backstage. Orton is with Triple H. He appreciates the authority now. Triple H reminds him of his losses. Orton tries to get him back on side. He trashes Batista, saying that they carried him in Evolution. Behind him is sneaky Batista.
From the 2010 Rumble.
He cuts a killer line, calling him the ass of the WWE rather than the face of the WWE.
Right.
What a man.
You're an ass.
Which Orton just sort of accepts and walks away.
I've got a nice ass.
Then and now they did it.
I like this spot.
How we didn't see him coming because he's just there
From
Del
the
Rio.
From the mist. In Del Rio. Here I am, you peril. What the
And as if by magic, Del Rio appeared.
What I didn't understand
And you dropped off your keys.
Del Rio pops up, he calls Batista an animal.
Times before I get sued by Del Rio.
He calls Batista an animal and he says, I'm a man.
Yes, that's my gimmick.
He says, you all might be an animal, but I'm a man.
Men are animals.
Yeah. He says this Sunday he warns Batista will pay for his attack and he's going to rip off the arms of Batista. I did quite like the continuity element of him looking down at his arms and then using them to push him at the very least into what looked like a toolbox.
Some random tech shit.
Yeah. But again, Triple H. Yeah, Triple H just sort of looks at you. Triple H has to get himself over for some reason. Even then, he's like, why does he have to be the last thing on camera?
Why you ain't doing anything at this pay-per-view? Why have I got to see you?
Does anyone at this point believe that Del Rio's going to win the match that we're about to watch?
No.
Well, okay then.
Nobody knows what anybody is at this point. Del Rio's the heel, but he gets cheered. Batista's about to get booed. Triple H, it depends on what mood he's in.
Yeah.
What show he's on.
It is the takeover.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
This is the Void years, eight.
He ain't even on Mania, is he, Del Rio?
I think he's in the Andre Battle Royal.
No, he's in the Battle Royal.
And he doesn't even win it. He's not even the most important of the irrelevant people.
Big Show's more important than him, isn't there?
So we move forward to Elimination Chamber 2014. We are at match 7 of a 9-match card in the 7th spot of the go and have a piss because no one cares what's going to happen.
Weird placing on the card.
Did you see the hype package before the match?
There was a hype package.
No, there wasn't one. So that's because there wasn't anything to hype at all. It was an irrelevant match. Batista enters to booze. We get the 4th or 5th match on the card, kind of video replay showing what has happened. Basically, is the way that they
Natalia farted and booked this match.
Lawler gets
to do the match.
Lawler gets export and import mixed up because he calls the Del Rio
What's greatest import?
Yeah, no, Mexico's greatest import. So they shipped him over.
Shipped him in.
Well, it's in Mexico now.
So Mexico have bought what they were selling.
Lawler at this point is fucking shit. He's so shit.
He's so bad.
Del Rio is out on a crutch with a neck brace. Del Rio says he can't compete following Batista's attack. Lies though as he uses the crutch to get an advantage. Lawler reminds us that this angle was done by him and Bret Hart in 1993.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. He works over the ankle of Dave, who punches him back after the bell. Del Rio is instantly the face with the crowd who chants Bootista. Del Rio puts him in the cross arm breaker from the apron. The arm is continued to be worked over as the crowd now warm up with a CM Punk chant. There's a strange Y2J chant as well, weirdly. Had anything to do with these people?
No, but this is the only chant that the fans, that the commentators really acknowledge.
Yeah, they did.
Well, we're in Minnesota, it's close to Canada.
What?
Daniel Bryan, we can't acknowledge him even though he's more over than everybody.
Yeah.
CM Punk, he's just left.
Well, they haven't acknowledged
we remember Chris Jericho.
They haven't quite accepted the Bootista chant yet, have they? They don't mention
No,
it.
it's a bit weird, the Bootista, especially after.
Yeah. Am I right in saying Bootista was a hashtag, or was it on Botchamania and then became a thing? Because fair play to Botchamania.
Well, I think the night after they had the Bootista sign, so I think it was a hashtag
before.
Yeah. And then Botchamania just made it with the birds,
which is brilliant. Del Rio misses a charge and goes into the ring post. He recovers, though, to hit a double stomp from the Brett rope. There's a nice charge in Insecurity that gets a 2 as Lawler starts to make slightly less racist Mexican jokes.
Lawler.
Yeah.
Come on.
Have a word. Have a word. Batista, man, that's him, like, Lineker, have a word.
Have a word with him. Have a word, he's being racist.
Somebody took his crayon. Have a word.
That's the start. Batista manages to hit his terrible spear, but only for a 2. Del Rio rolls through and hits a backstabber for a 2. Alberto now misses a senton attempt from the top rope, rolls through a Batista bomb, hits a straight kick to Batista for a 2 count. Cross arm breaker is teased, but Batista pushes him into an exposed turnbuckle pad. I didn't even make a note that it was exposed.
They never reference it on commentary. You see him in the background when he's outside Batista.
Well,
but,
you would think
Del Rio takes it off.
If they're trying to do that as the way out for Alberto, you think they would show it, but whatever. Rebounds into a Batista bomb for a 3.
There's a naked turnbuckle.
And Batista is still heading to WrestleMania, and he would have been if he'd lost, so it didn't really matter. Yeah.
This match is pointless.
Jack, talk us through
This match is pointless.
Yeah. Talk us through that.
In ring, okay,
yeah,
but in terms of a story and enhancing anything,
irrelevant,
doing anything for anyone in the match and the product, nothing at all. Absolutely nothing.
I think that issue that was the main problem with me in terms of the actual booking is if he is going to go over, he has to win dominantly.
Just make him look strong, yeah.
Yeah, if you I understand you're probably sacrificing Del Rio, but you know
he ain't doing anything at Mania.
Anyway.
You've made him look very weak in the past few weeks anyway.
Yeah, if you're going to give him this much offense, I wish he'd have won. That's what I just thought. It would have been better if he'd have just won. The crowd had turned though. The booking did him absolutely nothing. The match was all right. This ain't the worst match we've ever seen on a podcast.
No, Del Rio's decent.
But can I ask you, why after that would Orton fear Batista? Why would he?
After he's won a chamber. But I can't beat him. He struggled to beat Del Rio.
He had to use an exposed bit of steel to beat a bloke who ain't won anything in the last 6 months. Sam?
This match bored the hell out of me.
You can say that. After, I ain't even going to come to you after every other match. I'm just going to splice that in. This match bored me.
This was the most boring, pointless fucking match. It was just that I booked Batista for so many dates. And I thought, hang on a minute, we got a pay-per-view here.
How can a bloke have been here?
Del Rio, leave them kids, come here.
Leave them kids
fight Batista.
How can a bloke already be overexposed and he's only been back 5 weeks? He's already overexposed.
Have you been watching AEW recently?
It's Batista!
It's Drax!
Anyway, moving forward to Raw, the 24th of February, and what do we want after that but boring match that Sam absolutely hated? What we need is a rematch of that.
I forgot about this until I read me that. So
Yeah.
fucking hell, that happened and all.
Night after
I watched
Elimination Chamber.
I watched all the pay-per-views after I'd watched all the Raws, so I shouldn't have bothered with the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, repeat, basically. Com's team now acknowledges the boos for Batista. Batista mocks the crowd. There's a very, very, very weak-looking power Irish whip.
Oh, it's
But he
the
goes to the floor
slowest
and he just slowly jogs to the corner.
Awful. That's how we run.
And then he hits a buckle. Yeah!
Alberto Del Rio takes advantage of Batista, rolling back inside and hits, but he's hit with a big suplex, which keeps Batista on top. Del Rio tosses Batista into the steps as Laura explains to us why we all love Daniel Bryan over Batista. That's basically what he's saying. He says, what it is, you see, is that they all love Daniel Bryan. It's not Batista's fault. They just all love Daniel. Laura, have a word, mate.
We created this.
Yeah, we'll get on top of this by saying we created it. Yeah. After the
Someone
break,
nicked my blue crayon.
the one good thing we get with this is a break. After the break, Del Rio crashes on a charge attempt and goes straight through the middle ropes. They battle in the corner, leading to a superplex by Batista. Trading rights ends with a series of clothesline and a slam by Batista. A side kick is set up, and I assume was supposed to be missed.
Oh,
Batista
God.
forgets to move his head
That's
out the
brilliant.
way, so they had to go,
He just glanced him. I don't think he got that much of it.
Jesus. Del
I've got a
Rio.
feeling we've heard that a few times on Raw.
Del Rio, being obviously the better worker, recycles the spot and does it into a charge into the corner. Batista sets up the Batista bomb, but Orton's music plays. The distraction allows Del Rio to pick up a roll-up win. And I might as well finish the spot so we can get it all done. Orton then apologises before saying how funny he found the loss and the crowd reactions to Big Dave. Batista cuts a breathy promo. He tells everyone, I think this is the last knockings. This is Vince going, see if you can turn him. And he goes, I love this business. And they boo him. And then I think he just thinks, fuck this shit. Went, fuck. Because if the crowd cheer him, he cheers them back. But if they boo him, he boos them back.
When has a wrestler ever booed a crowd?
Boo! That's a weird spot.
So, instead of going up racing around, you go, boo!
I love that. We got to the corner and just started booing into the audience.
You! Boo!
He calls Orton a kiss-ass suck-up and he needs to deal with it.
Deal with it.
Deal with it.
Deal or no deal with it.
Him being the next champion. Bear in mind, he's just lost to Del Rio. What does he now do? Celebrates. He goes up to the top and points to the mania sign.
Boom!
I know it was TV, and it is unfair to judge a TV match against a pay-per-view match, but can we all agree this is a lot worse than the pay-per-view match in terms of just the logicalness behind everything that happened? Or did you enjoy it more because it was 10 minutes shorter?
No. I enjoyed it even less. The other one bored the arse off me. This raised my blood pressure. It was terrible. And the promo is... Okay, let's try and salvage the face of it. So basically, them trying to get... I think they know they fucked up here by saying when booking a heel at Mania. Here.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing now. So, okay, we've got to acknowledge Bryan.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's... No matter what you want to do, if you stick with this plan, you have got a heel mania. Has that ever happened, a heel mania?
No.
It can't happen.
Maybe Hogan Yoko at 9, but that was sort of subtle. That was.
They got that over and done with.
Yeah.
So we
may be back for that.
We make our first, and I believe only, stop over on SmackDown as we go to the February 28th.
SmackDown at this point was just a Raw clip show, plus a lot of Sheamus.
Did they, was they still doing the vault? Or did that stop to be a thing? Did you always get it?
I think we always look forward to the vault.
We always
Greg Valentine being all
something like that.
Jimmy Snooker.
This was, let's get this over with.
So Batista opens up on SmackDown, just to remind us how similar this is to Raw. I think we have 2/3 of the same commentary team. That's how much SmackDown is the same as Raw. Dave has joined the Peaky Blinders Club and he's wearing his favourite wife beater. His clothes get weird. Most of my notes are about his clothes.
Oh, this promo though. When he takes his top off, but he leaves the hat on. And he's just got the jeans and the hat.
See,
and
no,
He makes me laugh because he wants to pull it off really aggressively, but realises he's so tight that if he pulls it off aggressively, he's going to pull his hat off. So he has to do it really slowly.
I need to leave my hat on.
I'm going to say, I've got the top Jones, so give me a down.
You can leave your cap on.
Let me start by stating that I love this business. I love this company. Let me also start by stating that I did not come back to be liked. I did not come back to please all of you. I came back to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So you don't have to support me, but you're going to have to deal with it. It is a fact that I can destroy anyone they put in front of me. Fact. I am the best representative of the WWE. That includes Hulk Hogan. It most definitely includes The Rock. I mean, I don't get it. What the hell has happened to this business? I mean, where are all the real men? What happened to the attitude? You chant the names of 195-pound wannabes. You scream, yes, 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 yes. But the truth is, no, 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 no. They will never be me. That's the truth. Deal with it. I mean, do you honestly think that your heroes are as good as me? Everything about me screams WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, I get it. I can sympathize. You guys look at your heroes and you think, oh, he looks just like me. If he can be champion, so can I. You're living in a fantasy. So I need you to go back to your jobs at Hot Topic. Get out of your fantasy world. Get out of my world. From this point on, I will be systematically destroying each and every one of your heroes on my way to the main event at WrestleMania to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion.
He goes all Rafa Benitez with facts. He's talking about facts.
Hey!
The fact I am not playing mind games, I am talking about facts.
Deal with it. He shits on Hogan.
Oh, Rafa, you have said that. We won, Fergie. Deal with it.
He shits on Hogan and The Rock. He says that...
What did Hogan ever do?
Says there is...
Oh, hang on. We won't know that for another year.
He definitely cutting this promo straight from Vince's mouth. He says there's no men in the WWE anymore and shits on Daniel Bryan for being small and 190 pounds. None of their heroes are as good as him. He now shows his body for the crowd, still wearing his cap, before mocking the fans, living vicariously through Daniel Bryan. He proclaims that he'll become champion after destroying all their heroes. Here's your hero, Sam. I'll be your hero.
It should have been Luger on his bus. That would have fit.
Yeah.
It only took him, God knows how many, like 21 years later. Finally, Luger's our hero.
Dolph Ziggler is out and he calls Dave a dinosaur. He challenges Batista to a match tonight. Dave slaps his tight-fitted jeans thigh and accepts it.
Yo, yeah, brother.
Dolph then drops Dave with a drop kick. So the last two times we've seen Dave, lost to Alberto and has now been dropped by a drop kick by Dolph. Try saying that with a mouthful. Later on, the two clash. JBL tells us quite kindly that dinosaurs are dangerous.
Dinosaurs are dangerous.
Cheers, JBL.
You don't fuck with a dinosaur, battle. Watch out for those stegosaurus in battle. I've seen those Jurassic Park.
That's the stuff. You don't fuck with the stegosaurus. Get that on a t-shirt. JBL. You don't fuck with a stegosaurus.
The stegosaurus battle.
Absolutely amazing.
Thanks, JBL.
Dolph gets into Dave's head as he can't cope with the pace early on, but he suckers him outside and tosses him into the barricade. The crowd are dead as Batista works over the leg of Dolph Ziggler using the ring post. Batista hits a suplex for a 2. Paul reminds us that Batista has a past in Evolution. This really annoyed me because it's like they were trying to reintroduce the crowd to Dave Batista. I mean, it's literally the number.
Do you remember this man? Hear him.
It was a rumble.
Dave forgets that he's got... Dolph, though, forgets that Dave has been working over his knee for the last 15 minutes. Jumps on Dave in the corner.
Dolph is a twat.
That annoyed me.
He hits a Faymaster for a 2. He does do a lovely bump. That's what Dolph does. He bumps brilliantly. The boos start for Dave as he hits 2 more spine busters and a Batista bomb for the 3. And seemingly we have now arrived at heel Dave Batista.
Yeah!
I'll just put that I thought there was still far too much hope spots for Dolph. I mean, this is SmackDown. Less people watch this than Raw. Why not just let him destroy Dolph Ziggler and turn completely heel? It was quick enough, though. So, anyone want to add?
I don't know. It was quick enough.
What would you have had him come out? Batista bomb.
Yeah, that's it.
Stegosaurus finger poke.
You don't mess with the Stegosaurus battle.
Jack?
I didn't really understand the promo because the show before ended with him saying, "I love the business," and
They cheer me, I cheer them. They boo me, I boo them.
4 days later, the show opens with him, so he's like the next segment.
Yeah.
And he's going, "You fuck! I hate you all." It's like, what happened there?
He had a bad couple of days.
Dolph's fine. Working with Dolph, Med said he should have been probably his opponent at Chamber if you want to go with it, and he should have just destroyed him.
Dolph would have been a better opponent.
Well, Dolph, at this point, Dolph was the bump machine, and he should have just destroyed him, made him look brilliant to the people who don't know him.
I agree. Renee Young asked Dave for his thoughts, but this is going forward now to the 3rd of March. Renee Young asked for Dave for his thoughts before his match with Daniel Bryan. He cuts a short deal with it promo.
Yes.
Before their match, Randy Orton is out. Batista powers Bryan down early on. Bryan works over the legs with drop kicks and yes kicks. Half Boston crowd is now locked in. Batista catches Bryan with a power lariat. After the break, Bryan is making his comeback. And there's a flying goat mackle. Suicide Suicide dive. He hits a missile drop kick, followed by the yes kicks for a 2. The Authority walk out, which gets a huge CM Punk chant. Batista is tossed into Batista tosses Bryan into Orton. Orton gets annoyed and causes the DQ. Bryan hits a running knee to Orton, then Kane. Batista hits a spear on Bryan. This allows Triple H to take over, and we continue with the more interesting arc after Batista leaves. Anyone want to talk about that? Again, it was an 8-minute dusty finish match between Batista and Bryan. Do you feel that we've got Batista in a feud with Bryan now? Is that?
I just think this is the moment where they finally just insert Bryan as he's now going to be in this title match, because
I just think they added up
all
the story is about the Authority and Bryan now, and literally Batista is the prop. Batista is
the muscle.
Yeah,
the goon.
He is the goon. He's the goon.
The goon.
Not very good. Moving forward to the 10th of March, backstage with Brad Maddox. A scared Brad Maddox is talking to Orton and Batista. The Authority have gone, so Batista now is aligned with the Authority. Nothing on the end of that show led me to believe he was aligned with the Authority. The next time we see him, he is now with Orton. He threw Daniel Bryan into Orton. At the last show we see him.
Called him an ass 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, but anyway.
Told him to deal with it.
Horse is hard.
Horse is hard. Horse is hard.
Apparently, though, Orton and Batista.
That would have been a better promo.
If that was the promo.
Never fuck when it's Stegosaurus.
Apparently, the advice that Brad Maddox has been given to
Brad Maddox gives advice,
from the Authority is that
I could make a joke there, but no.
They need to deal with the problems of the Authority.
Deal with it!
Which is Daniel Bryan and Big Show.
Big Show a problem?
What kind of problem is he? Just fucking crying, he'll turn.
When was Big Show a problem? 1999.
He was punching fucking Dusty Rhodes last year. What's going on?
And he'll be punching bloody John Cena by the end of the year to
join back with him.
Having a stairs match, are you, with Eric Rowan?
Christ. To start out our tag main event, it's Orton and Bryan. Bryan gets a suicide dive in to beat the break. Back from it, there's a chin lock. Batista tags in and corners Bryan with his shoulder tackles. And we'll see that a lot. Yes. Lawler now loves the Bootista chant. Apparently them acknowledging this on the commentary team.
Oh, I love it, Michael.
Lovely scoop slam by Orton. The commentary team argue about Bryan as Batista beats down on Bryan in the ring. Batista gets a 2 after a clothesline. Orton misses a high knee drop, and Big Show makes the tepid tag and dominates the heels. He's double teamed though as Batista takes out his leg. Big Show slaps Batista away, only to get speared. Batista now is stupid heel because he decides he wants to Batista bomb the fucking Big Show.
I can pick this fat man up.
There's a hot tag.
I'm a dinosaur, damn it.
There's a hot tag to Bryan. Bryan takes down both Orton and Batista with yes kick. Misses a top rope headbutt, but has enough to lock in a yes lock.
Do you want to respect the power of a Stegosaurus?
Batista breaks it up before Orton hits an RKO on the Big Show. Batista.
Right, Jack.
Batista spears Orton accidentally. Orton hits vintage Orton on Bryan, goes for the RKO, but it's reversed, and eventually a running knee on Orton gives Bryan the win over the world champion. I actually think this is our best match so far.
But they're saying a lot.
No, it's not saying a lot.
But it definitely is.
And in the pecking order of people that are in this match, at least Batista is not the most irrelevant person over Big Show.
Big Show? Where? Was I up in a fever?
Anyone want to add their thoughts to that tag match?
I have no thoughts whatsoever.
It was a bad match. I enjoyed it.
Typical Raw filler match.
It was at least made Batista and Orton focusing on.
Storyline-wise, it makes no sense.
No,
really.
not at all.
But for Batista, which is what we're focusing on.
But it is. They have flipped it 180 and just sort of accepted that these two are the irrelevant people in the picture of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. The title means nothing.
So, at the start of the next show, which is the 17th of March, Batista interrupts Triple H. He moans at Triple H, saying he didn't sign up for a triple threat match before stumbling over the word Royal Rumble.
Was it Boris Johnson? I'll careful.
Triple H tells him Daniel Bryan has no chance of beating him. Orton heads out and agrees with Batista. Triple H says he will not lose to Daniel Bryan. Batista says Bryan has got into Triple H's head. Orton gets a no DQ match with Bryan tonight. Orton then says the reason the fans love Bryan is they don't like Batista. Batista calls Orton a paper champion. They bicker and argue, so Triple H walks away. He gets angry. He says he's sick of Hollywood movie stars thinking they know more than him. And he's sick of Orton because he can only win matches when he holds his hand.
He's Hogan on the next segment.
So he makes his match with Bryan for the third man in a triple threat match in the main event at WrestleMania. Orton hits an RKO on Batista. So again, the segment ends with Batista being the most irrelevant person. Seemingly after this, Batista walks out on WWE. He sort of quits in his backstage gear. Later, though, as Orton throws Daniel Bryan back inside, Batista appears and spears Orton, which allows Bryan to get a second straight win over Orton. Then, strangely, at the end of the show, back in the same gear that he was in,
back dressed now.
back dressed, we see Dave Batista telling, as Sam quite rightly said earlier, that he doesn't quit on anything. He's never quit in his life.
I don't
going to
quit
start tonight.
Fuck off! You quit in 2010, you bastard.
I'm just struggling to see why Dave needed to get involved or in this at all. He's just so irrelevant to this feud. No one believes he's going to win the belt, do they, honestly, at this point?
I should bloody hope no.
I mean, it's just completely and utterly irrelevant. It would have been better him just losing to Bryan and letting Bryan have the match with Orton.
Well, out of the four, he's the one who's going to least likely to walk away as champion. Even Triple H, I would say, is more likely to walk away.
It would have been better to replace Dave with Triple H.
Who's Dave, mate? Is he in the Battle Royal? I come back for the Andre Memorial Battle Royal. Give me what I want.
Stegosaurus need to win, Michael.
Obviously, Vince McMahon.
God damn it.
Obviously, Vince McMahon didn't get his main event that he wanted to, so he had it the week before. Because on Raw, the 31st of March, it's Orton versus Batista in the main event. The match to close out Raw pre-Mania is Orton versus Batista. JBL references the fact that this was supposed to be the WrestleMania main event. It's now a no DQ match. The Authority are out to watch our main event and join us on commentary. And this, I can't stress to you that I hated this match so much because they were on commentary, because I can get behind most matches as long as I can have a decent enough bit of commentary to tell me what's happening. I can't have just Stephanie and Triple H going, you be the animal and you be the fighter.
Still like that.
Don't be the animal. And then he goes, meh, to the entrance.
You want to see the animal?
That's the animal. That's the Stegosaurus.
And I'm going to beat him at WrestleMania.
Orton tosses Batista in the steel.
Hang on, are you a viper an animal?
I don't understand it. Orton stomps away. I think with the Authority on comms, this match is pretty irrelevant. Orton clotheslines Batista over the barrier. Dave brings in a chair. Plays up to smashing it into Orton. There's a back body drop onto the guardrail, and a chair shots by Orton puts him on top. Stephanie keeps just saying wow, which is very annoying. Kendo stick is used by Orton now, which gets reversed and Irish whipped into the steps. Orton hits a backbreaker to escape a Batista bomb attempt. Vintage Orton as Daniel Bryan attacks Triple H. The crowd now completely come alive because the most relevant person is here. The match continues as Batista hits a spear. There's a running knee on Batista, suicide dive by Bryan, and seemingly the match just has ended. Then we get the yes chant to send us off to WrestleMania.
The match is still going on, really.
So, now, just to guarantee that they were irrelevant, they are irrelevant. But anyone want to talk about... This is our arc finish, by the way, with the Daniel Bryan bit, because we've seen the WrestleMania match, but yeah, anyone want to comment on that?
The match was poor. It was just walk and brawl, and brawl, wait for Bryan. Here comes Bryan, right, that's it, come on! And then,
That's a song, walk and brawl, wait for Bryan, here comes Bryan, yeah!
Go banana. Well, that's all it was. It was wait for Bryan beats up Triple H.
Wait for Bryan, here comes Bryan.
Bryan masks that the product is a bit shit because he's so over.
We've lost Punk.
Yeah, that's right, that is.
As what happens, and is shown by the fact, later with what happens with Bryan.
I completely agree. I actually think that people look back at this and they'll say WrestleMania 30 was a good event. It was a good event. And therefore think that this period of WWE is where they were booking things good. This is as bad a booking I have ever seen.
Even 30, they fucked up with Mr. Wyatt and all
yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Obviously, I've got to stress, this is the worst match I've seen on this pod, purely because, not on this podcast, on this podcast, on this one, because I hated the commentary. I hated and detested the commentary. You're not going to focus on the match and not going to build Batista or Orton as credible contenders for the world title. Don't have the match. Doesn't matter. It's just so stupid. The end was brilliant, but it's only brilliant because of because of Daniel Bryan, not because of David and Orton. It's a terrible, terrible match.
He was at that level where it didn't really matter who he was fighting. Well, that he was beating up them. It's just that he was eating.
You could have inserted Sheamus and bloody Fandango into the match, and it would have been the same. But if you do want to check out what our thoughts are on Dave Batista's WrestleMania match, you can head over to our archives now and check out Dave Batista from the 12 Daves of Christmas. Dave won. He was our very first Dave.
So this was what, 3 years ago, something like that?
3 Christmases ago, wasn't it? This Christmas gone. You can check out, and that was Dave Batista's highest rated match from the perennial wrestling Dave Meltzer. So there you go.
Twat.
We have moved forward, and the booking has got even more confusing as we head to Raw the 14th of April 2014. Earlier in the show, Triple H G's up Batista and Orton. He tells them that they should focus on the Shield.
When the hell did this happen?
They were just beating up Road Dogg.
If they would attack...
I love my Road Dogg.
I love the logic now, because his logic is, well, if they're going to attack me, they would probably attack you. What?
No.
And they go, that's fucking right,
yeah.
Idiots. No.
Stephanie says the only people that can stop the Shield are the 3 of them. Triple H says nobody will stop them. But he says Batista says he just wants the gold, and Orton agrees and says he's on his own. Later on, the Usos are in their tribal gear, and they're sporting a nice tribute to the Ultimate Warrior, who was on Raw, the one you watched. Yeah. And the Raw we're now on is dead. So, there you go. That was a weird bit of booking, that.
We got a booking to die. We got these shirts.
We've not had a good death recently. The sad EastEnders.
I wish I could fill you in the blanks, because the Raw after WrestleMania, obviously, the Batista and Orton fought the Usos. I don't know why I'm teaming at all, but then
no logical sense.
No, the Usos jump Orton and Batista to start. They hit flying Usos.
That annoyed me though. He never said flying Uso, and I got so excited when they was about to jump because I thought Sam's going to hear. That's a flying Uso, man.
Did they say it?
I had enough of that at the Rumble 2015.
Really annoyed me, that did.
When I saw him, I thought, don't say it.
We're in such a bad mood in not saying that.
The Usos.
So we had them. You wanted it to put me in a bad mood. Yeah. Put you in a good mood. 20 days they put me in a good mood. And they put you in a bad mood.
Very weird booking. The Usos caught Orton early and hit a diving uppercut. Orton hits a backbreaker on Jimmy and tags in Batista. He hits a powerful Irish whip and suplex. Jimmy Uso is now isolated by the heels as the crowd gets quieter. Big spine buster for a 2, and the Shield, who have absolutely no reason to attack these. Absolutely no reason to attack. Are out to end the match with a run-in. They attack Orton and then surround Batista, who eats a Superman punch from Roman Reigns.
Well, they did have a reason.
They did?
Really? Yeah.
Well,
because Triple H said, if they attack me, they'll attack you. And that must have been backstage. So we gotta do it now. If we don't do it, we look like arse.
This is the best bit, though. This probably is.
Sure about that?
This bit is my favourite bit of the whole podcast, where later an angry Orton and Batista are walking backstage. Triple H walks up and goes, "Told you." And walks up.
Told you.
Why did we have to do that? You know, you could have had the last spot where they beat him down without me seeing that. I didn't need to see Triple H's smug face.
Triple H has got to get a bit of a comedy laugh, and I am still a bit of a face.
Yeah,
I'm a rascal.
What did he say to Flair? They'll beat you up. And I go, no.
Don't forget, though. Do you remember that terrible episode of Raw where John Cena and Orton were booked against the entire WWE back catalogue? The main event is the Shield versus the entire heel WWE roster in a handicap
the entire
match.
heel, WWE lower, mid card.
Yeah, the people who aren't relevant.
Yeah.
Evolution's theme plays after Shield have been beaten down, and out walks a reformed Evolution. Slow, methodical beatdown of the Shield happens. Roman Reigns gets Batista bombed. Rollins gets RKO'd. Ambrose gets a Batista bomb and a modified RKO. Triple H tells Roman to believe in Evolution and rounds us out with a pedigree to Roman.
Yeah.
Evolution v the Shield. Probably the most I've put probably the most interesting thing that's happened on the podcast so far. In fairness, the end bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense.
No sense at all.
No sense at all as to why they've attacked them.
Yeah.
The Shield have attacked Batista and Orton. Then why Evolution them all pally when 2 months ago he called him a horse's ass.
Horse's ass.
What the fuck's going on? It's just so.
Not only that, any credibility that those 9 men had that were struggling to beat the Shield before Evolution came out and destroyed them has gone.
It was
now
11.
I know. Was it 11?
Yeah.
Even if
11.
I do accept one of those was like Bo Dallas or whoever it was.
Fandango, Roy Axel, 3MB. But Rusev was in there.
Was he?
Rusev was in there, and he'd only just debuted.
Oh,
And Barrett was there. Why Barrett there?
God.
Why would
none
a
of that.
dancer give a shit?
But what I don't understand with this is eventually when you break up the Shield, Ambrose has to feud with these people that he destroyed for the last. I mean, like I say, I'm more interested in the fact that we've got something credible for Dave to be. But this is the point where Dave Batista is no longer the main person in his own podcast.
He's the third
But he's
one.
the third man in that group.
He's the 6th one
Who's
in
the
there.
third man?
He's the sixth one in the whole feud. As shown by the matches.
Yeah. So we move forward to the 21st of April, and midway through the show, Evolution are out. They've got a fancy new Titantron video where they age. Age of a age.
The state of these lads.
Aging is a mystery.
First thing Triple H has got to do, though, is he's dressed Batista correctly. Sorted it out. He definitely,
Dressed like it's 2003, damn it.
he definitely though hasn't had his throat medicine.
Oh, Triple, you
What a
can even
voice.
see Batista and Orton start laughing. So they both start laughing at each other. I think it's Orton now, he has to turn around.
Yeah, Batista whispers in his ear. I think he says, "You know how you didn't give me any lines? I'll do a line."
That's what he should have done, is pick a pack of triples out. I think you knew what it is, mate.
You know, I laugh every time I think about it. Imagine what it feels like. Imagine what that had to feel like. You tell the whole world that you are the baddest guys on the planet. Week in, week out, you tell the world you are the baddest people around. And then one day, your daddy comes out and he spanks you in front of the world. That's humiliating. That is humbling. And that, quite frankly, is just the beginning. Sometimes all it takes is a single spark to set the world on fire. In this case, it was one careless act by the Shield that set in the motion of the gears of their destruction. And that is the reformation of the most dominant, fiercest group ever. Evolution. Now, in case you've forgotten, you see, in this industry, just like in life, everything evolves. And what you see in this ring before you is the greatest example of evolution you will ever see. The most destructive force that WWE has ever seen. The animal Batista. The Viper, Randy Orton. And the game, Triple H. Destruction, true destruction. Power, true power. When you set out on a journey to find where that line is in the sand, don't cross the line. There's a simple rule in life. You either adapt or you perish. That is evolution. Are you starting to get it now? Is it becoming clear? 31 world titles in this ring between the three of us. The Shield has absolutely no idea what they've gotten themselves into.
Triple H doing his own Sean Deitch impression. Struggles through.
Attack!
He tells us something about spanking the Shield.
Excuse me. Oh, hang on. When did I put it down about this?
Oh, you got the note on spanking.
No, it's about when he said when you stand up to your dad and then your dad starts spanking you in public. Excuse me?
Yeah. But Dad's never done that to us. Come here, I'll spank you now. Orton takes over, saying sometimes it takes only a spark to set the world on fire, and that spark.
And then it takes a smack.
We get a video package of Evolution's past. I must admit, this was very, very well put together. The package of Evolution's past.
Yeah, they do a good video package.
Yeah, and I can't remember.
What happened to play?
I did look it up. It was a song that was never used on anything else.
It was a good theme though. I quite liked it.
A song that only had about fucking 10 views on YouTube.
Is that right?
But it was definitely a nice song. I can find it, or you could just carry on.
Well, you'll let us know when you found that song, I'm sure. Batista rounds us out saying that they have 31 titles between them. We was already told that by JBL. She spoils everything.
31 world championships.
Mackle! 31 Mackle! And the Shield have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
Wonder how many of you have named.
Deal with it again. The Shield.
The banker ring up. Is Ric Flair the banker?
Shield head out. I know. I cut out. The only thing I cut out for this podcast was Flair.
Oh, where just completely buried
his approval of the Shield. Would they see that?
He approves the Shield over Evolution.
Yeah, he comes out and he goes, the most dominant faction, and then he turns and shakes hands with the Shield. That happened.
I do remember that because they mentioned it on one of them.
Why am I waiting for which side is it? It's Ric Flair.
I think it's because they knew Flair would get cheered, it don't matter what.
Yeah.
So this is the only thing that kind of did right. Although, watch for more rebook.
It's Jewel by WVM.
No, and if you want to check that out, let us know what you thought of it.
I thought it was a good tune.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
I can't remember.
Shield head out, Evolution back away from the fight. Dean Ambrose tells us that last week wasn't the first time they'd been beaten up. He asks if they look humbled. He says there's a reason Triple H hired them to protect Orton. Rollins says they started this and know exactly what they've got themselves into. Rollins teases that the Evolution are not united. Well, yeah, duh, we know that. Problem with the booking. Rollins promises to be the hammer that drives the nail into their coffin. Roman gets real and says that they are coming for a fight and they can even stand and fight
for a fight
or run. As they do head up the ramp for a fight, the whole heel roster are back out. Triple H finishes the segment in his croaky voice, saying that they either adapt or perish. Buy our new t-shirts. Jack,
you either wear our t-shirt or you die.
It was hard to get past his sore throat.
That was funny. As soon as he started, I was just looking at Orton and Batista going, I think they might be laughing at you.
That was difficult, but I think, it is obvious that Mr. Reigns is a star. Seth talked for about 3 minutes, did okay, and then Roman just says, we're going to come up and beat you up, and he's like, well,
the only problem with Roman is the fact that the fans turned him into the one that they wanted them to book behind, so they did, and then they hated the fact that they knew it was...
Why are you doing him? You fucking don't! You're cheering him here!
Because he's so over. All the way through our run, he's so over. Jack, Sam?
This was just Triple H's voice. As soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah. I was just looking at him, but Batista laughing, Orton laughing. The Shield promo was a bit, I don't know, Seth.
I think Seth's finding his way. He got better because he had that run as a heel for a couple of years.
Reigns, I think that's how you should have booked Reigns.
Not suffering suffragette.
Suffering suffragette, son. Thanks.
Thanks, Reigns. Just give him 1 or 2 words and that's it. That's how we should have booked. Just keep him as the Shield one. You don't need, yes, he's a face. You can still keep his heel tropes. Can you imagine if, Austin did it a little bit, though, when he turned heel. He went a bit like Mad Day.
Yeah.
Comedy-ish, so you can sort of, even though somebody's...
Yeah. But you can, exactly.
You know what I mean? You can.
It is harder nowadays because the fans, smarky fans in there, back then you could boo him and laugh at him at the same time, whereas if someone's funny nowadays, they've got to be cheered or they've got to
it's
be
The Rock, The Rock made that.
Yeah, that's
The Rock comedy, and because The Rock was so much better than everybody else with the stick. Everybody else has tried to do it, and we've tried to book the next Rock.
All of the pay-per-views we see are still active pay-per-views, which has got to be a first for a podcast.
It's only been 6 years, damn it.
Batista is out in his lovely red gear as the Shield build the tension, and after around a minute they head out through the crowd. We get a Pistols at Dawn face-off spot, and we go at it. There doesn't seem to be any bell at all for a while. The Shield clear the ring.
I haven't even rang the bell yet.
Triple H rushes in, and the referee does finally ring the bell.
Ring the fucking bell.
Rollins and Triple H start off. There's a nice single leg drop kick by Reigns, and he hits his own version of Daniel Bryan's suicide dive. Triple H turns Rollins inside out with a clothesline before tagging in Batista. What I will say about Batista, obviously they didn't mean it, he's definitely the most over heel. He gets booed.
Once he gets tagged,
without a shadow, and then gets the most heel.
No!
He hits a shoulder charge on Rollins in the corner. Orton slingshots Rollins into the bottom rope, and Triple H gets a near fall on a facebuster. And again, Batista gets good peel heat when he gets tagged in. He works over Rollins outside, and Evolution have Rollins isolated. Orton hangs Rollins on the top rope and gets a 2. Rollins hits a back body drop suplex and almost makes the hot tag, but Evolution rush the Shield off the apron. There's a beautiful enseguri by Rollins this time that leads to the hot tag. Dean Ambrose is in and lays fists into Orton. Ambrose hits a slingshot lariat and locks in a figure 4 leg lock, which is where they were harking back to the Ric Flair endorsement. But Evolution break
I
it
just
up.
endorsed you. I didn't say you could use my finish.
we know what happens when someone starts doing that, Miz. Reigns crashes and
Did
burns.
you not learn from the year before?
Reigns crashes and burns outside on a spear attempt and goes into the steel steps. Ambrose now can be cornered and isolated, so Orton works over Ambrose and locks in a chin lock. Triple H is in, and despite being rattled, barely hits a spinebuster, and I mean barely hits a spinebuster.
Nope.
Batista continues to get booed and hits a spinning back sort of elbow charge, but he does hit it well, in fairness to him. Ambrose reverses a pedigree attempt and plants a DDT on to Batista. The crowd are pretty much still with it, although we are 22 minutes into the match at this point. But Big Roman is in and hits a big clothesline on Dave and Orton. There's a beautiful drive-by, which he always does fantastic. It takes out Triple H and Orton on the rebound. Inside, Batista goes for a Batista bomb, but a springboard high knee by Rollins and a Superman punch blocks it. The Shield hit their power bomb, but the cover is stopped. This is 24 or 5 minutes in at this point, to allow Rollins to crash on a suicide attempt. Triple H hits a pedigree on Reigns, but he isn't legal. He's Triple H. This is what I hate. He fucking runs the show. Batista gets a 2 on
Was
the
the
cover.
ref looking when he hit the pedigree? I can't remember if
Yeah,
it's this
yeah.
match or the other one.
He was looking, but
Nothing happened.
he sort of tried to get down.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why a heel tries. Whatever. I mean, I'm probably clutching at straws. I'll tell you what I thought of the match in a bit. An RKO by Orton on Reigns, but Rollins makes the save on a pin attempt. Ambrose runs over the 3 tables to take out Orton and Triple H. I wonder if we'll see that spot again. It is a good spot. You just don't need to do it all the time. The 3 of them now all spill up the crowd with Rollins following. Battle up and down the stairs. Rollins now hits an amazing New Jack style dive from the stands above them, but the camera...
Oh, he just randomly...
camera didn't really catch it.
Jesus Christ.
And in the ring, Dave Batista hits a spinebuster, but a Superman punch and a spear later by Roman Reigns, and Dave Batista has taken the pinfall, and the Shield have won. Whew. That was a long one. Sam?
It was a bit too long. The bit at the end, definitely, when they was both down, and then we just thought, fuck it, let's get the other 4 into the crowd, and it just stayed on them phrases. The other 2 was just lying there. That was unnecessary.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And considering the match you have next, it was kind of wasted. They should have waited a month.
Done it in the blow-off. Jack?
Yeah.
I thought you meant Brian Kane on the show.
No.
Yes.
I know what you mean now.
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think it was too long. I didn't feel like
It wasn't long enough, damn it.
It wasn't as long as the next one, you know.
Nah, well, there's parts of it
There is that.
a little bit. But this...
And you wonder why I was tired
I
today.
felt it flowed nicely. I never felt like it was dragging too long. I thought it went well. They all have good chemistry. They all did well in the spots. People had time to shine. They obviously give the win to the right person. The best part of the match is there's a bit of commentary from Jerry Lawler, if you go back from it, where when Triple H is the pedigree on Roman, he gets the 2, and then RKO on Roman, and Seth breaks up the pin. After that, Lawler says, it can't get any more extreme than this.
It's Extreme Rules, baby.
Well, it can't get any more extreme than this.
And I put a broken up pin. Is that as extreme as it can get?
That's why you ACDC. You shouldn't get any more extreme than
a broken
than Jackie Fargo.
But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
It was a good match. I can't deny it was a good match. The best thing about the match is how strong they kept Roman.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that it was booked in such a way that Ambrose got his shit in, Rollins got the dive in.
Yeah.
I would have cut it by 5 minutes. I've got to admit, there was bits in because the build was all around the triple powerbomb being hit, and then you didn't even allow, because then, like Sam says, you then have Roman getting pedigreed, and in theory, the pedigree is laid out Roman, and Dave's been laid out by the triple for the next 5 minutes whilst they're fighting the crowd. Yeah. So, where do you go with that? If that's the, I would have got the fighting the crowd over with earlier and finished it on the triple powerbomb. But other than that, I am nitpicking. It was a good match. I just thought it was 5 minutes too long. So 4.5 stars.
Too long.
We move forward to May the 5th be with you, and the end of the Shield versus the Wyatts. Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch on Bray, and the Shield are in to set up the triple powerbomb. Evolution's theme hits, and they're out to pimp their new merchandise. Dual suicide dive attempts by Ambrose and Rollins takes out 4 men, which was Harper, Rowan, and I think it was Orton and Batista.
Yeah.
Reigns hits a Superman punch on Triple H, but Bray recovers in the ring and hits her sister Abigail to beat the Shield. Fair play, keeping the Wyatts hot. After the bell, the Evolution tack takes place. There's a top rope spike DDT by Orton. Spinebuster onto the steps by Batista. And a pedigree eventually on a battling Reigns. Even here, Reigns is the one that sort of rallies. But a pedigree later, and Batista does get a chance to hit the triple powerbomb. So at the very least, you're reminded he exists. I could have cut that out. In all honesty, it didn't really add anything more than we've already seen. But anyone want to comment on a third beatdown?
Not really. It just gets Evolution's heat back, though. Really.
Keeps Wyatt strong, even though you've
I like that.
Even though you've already fucked him at Mania.
I would have liked them to have teased. Obviously, I know they probably know Batista's leaving, but I would have liked them to have done a tease on the way.
Well, even if they're going to leave, just tease it, and then in the future, if they did
it 2 years later, when Triple H won the belt at Rumble, and Bray did the thing where he stroked the belt, they facing Triple H because everybody thought that would be a match. So he could have done something.
I would have liked that.
Not stroking Triple H, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, because as much as they have been kept strong because they've just been the dominant faction in the WWE, they are then irrelevant when they just go, oh, cheers, lads, see you later. Left down a pub. So we move forward to May the 12th. The Shield opened the show with a promo. Ambrose says that what they saw last week you don't see very often. They got the crap beat out of them. He demands Evolution. Rollins says they aren't running from Evolution, but they're running to them. Rollins challenges them and says Evolution are not the Evolution of old. Reigns is pacing around in the back. He gets the microphone, opens up. Unfortunately, he's looking at the wrong camera, though. He recaps what they have done to him, asking if that's all they've got. He does fluff his lines very slightly, but promises to make them believe in him. Evolution's limo rolls up. Shield rush off to meet them in the parking lot. Defense ends into a brawl. The best bit of all of this brawl is seeing IRS.
A wild chase to appear.
And a bunch of refs stopping the brawl. Our main event is set as Roman Reigns is out with the rest of the Shield. Cole tells us that earlier Evolution made their rematch with the Shield at Payback in a few weeks' time. Batista is out with Evolution as the two big men hook up old school style. Batista hits a shoulder charge in the corner. They spell outside with Roman getting the advantage, but back inside he misses a Superman punch and eats a clothesline in the corner. Bit of miscommunication on an Irish whip, and a Bootista chance goes off again. Reigns again back on top, and both the Shield and Evolution jump on the apron and have a standoff. Crowd does feel quite flat. There's dual suicide dives by Ambrose and Rollins. Reigns hits a drive-by. Back inside, Superman punch is set up by Triple H, but Triple H blocks it. and therefore the ref called an end to the match, which did really annoy me because when you invest in a match,
about that.
when you invest in a match like this is Dave Batista, who's already lost to Roman Reigns. Either give him the win.
Has he won a match?
Well, either give him the win or keep Roman strong.
Rio.
You know, you don't. It's okay for Roman Reigns, even on his arc that he's going, to lose to Dave Batista to give him a win back. And it's also okay for Dave Batista to lose to Roman Reigns because we've seen it. So why would he have to end in a smoz? Anyone else?
Nah.
Nah.
I agree. It just don't make sense. It was unnecessary, this was. I think it was just a way for the Shield to get their heat back from Evolution getting their heat back. It's just people getting heat back from getting heat back.
It's too much 50-50, eh?
Yeah.
And it's not committing. And look, people can lose without completely destroying the character.
Absolutely.
It's
people
wrestling. Sort of get hung up too much on. But he lost the match, he must be buried. That's it. His push is finished. It's like, well, he can lose, but it gives him more of an edge going forward.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And then obviously the match ends with the expendable locker rooms coming out, and ends with your favourite man taking the triple
Yes,
belt.
I was happy with that. That made me happy.
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah.
We do always seem to check out at May 19th on every podcast that we do, but we're back again, May 9th. Backstage, earlier Evolution talk each other up. Triple H tells Dave Batista to make sure Rollins doesn't make it to Payback, and he's going to do it all by himself. We're in the UK.
Hello.
When they cut to the ringside, I thought, oh, fuck me, it's in the UK.
Yeah,
remember this?
I don't remember this.
Triple H is the comes out with his authority theme. Or Mervyn
I
King's
was
theme,
there.
depends.
It's Mervyn King.
He says he's the guest ring announcer and adds a...
I love this commentary. I love Lola on this show.
Questions why he needs his fist tape to be a ring announcer.
Why does the ring announcer need a fist tape? Why is the timekeeper a ring game?
Yeah. Dave is out and Seth introduces his special guest commentators. I mean...
And then JBL, who's this official?
Well, Triple H is angry. I mean, logically, it is his company. Why? It doesn't make any sense that they can just announce it on the comments, but whatever.
Why don't you just stop them halfway through the ring? Like, no, not official. Piss off.
Batista starts, as he always does, with his shoulder charges in the corner. JBL and Ambrose over-talk, and a bit like earlier, because you've got guest ring announcers, you can't really focus on the match. Yeah, after the break, Seth is tossed over the steps nicely. Evolution T's getting involved, but Dave, but don't, as Dave Batista takes over the match. Sleeper hold is locked in on the mat. He breaks loose with a chin buster. There's a nice clothesline, which is sold absolutely brilliantly by Seth. He's like Dolph, but like better. Yeah. You know?
I'm glad you said that.
It just sells so. He's Sean, and he just is Sean.
Yeah. Dolph is better.
Triple H talks back to Rollins as Dave goes high for a superplex attempt. It's blocked though, and Rollins hits the blockbuster or buffbuster, depending on what way you want to look at it.
The job buster.
Rollins hits a spinning neckbreaker as the UK crowd finally wake up. Rollins hits a dropkick, sending Batista to the outside. Big spinebuster as the Shield and Evolution start to tease going at it. Rollins hits a springboard knee to the face for a 2. Triple H finally gets involved, knocking Seth off the top. The two factions brawl around ringside. Ambrose recycles the spot from his Extreme Rules running over the announce table, and the ref finally gives up on the match. And again, for the second week running, we can't have any clean win. We have a dusty finish. I mean, for me, this is one of the worst segments, I've got to admit. This is losing steam now.
You've overdone everything.
Yeah. Anyone, what's your thoughts on that, Jeff?
That's my name. No, I agree. It's the UK, so I knew the match wouldn't be as big because it's the UK, so they don't really give a shit that much. But just having DQ after DQ after DQ after DQ, what's the fucking point?
No one's getting over.
It don't help anyone. I would rather you have a win and a loss. You could elevate both. even if one kept losing, it would elevate them more.
I mean, Evolution...
DQing both, it just brings them both down.
Exactly. Evolution could be the evil heel that constantly cheat to get the win, which means Shield have constantly coming back. Evolution could lose and always have the upper hand because they run the show.
Yeah.
So this is easy booking. This is completely and utterly easy booking. I just don't understand. Well, the thing that annoyed me the most though is this is the Attitude Era. Don't waste 30 minutes this segment.
No, I don't mean DQs. I mean the Attitude Era was Austin could come out and stun people and Rock would lose matches and Austin will champ forever and Mankind got over and he had the belt for like 2 weeks, 3 times. It's just not hard to run it. Sam?
I thought the Shield were absolute idiots on this show because Triple H made him an Orton, timekeeper and ring announcer, and yet they was walking around helping Batista. The Shield come out as guest commentators, yet they actually still stayed there and did the commentary. Why do they just not bother and help the Shield, help Seth out? Why did they stay there?
Well, that's
because I thought, okay, you look at him and say, no, don't do anything or whatever, and like Ambrose was saying all this shit. I said, just put the headset down and just try and stop him. Don't stand there. Roman put the headset on and they say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was better. Yeah,
it was better in the sense
that it overexposes it. If you want him to start,
it overexposes it, but at the same time, it makes them look like morons. All right, then just get Roman to be prowling around the ring to stop Orton and Triple H. And if you want Ambrose to do the talking, just let him stay there.
That's true.
So, idiots.
Yeah. It's all not believable anymore.
No.
Moving forward.
I'm starting to think this is work.
Moving forward to May 26th.
Orton and Batista are backstage chatting when Cody Rhodes and Goldust walk in. They haven't
want to come to AEW?
I like this because they haven't been booked a time slot on the show, but they're going to offer an open challenge to someone in the show. So they're going to have some time. but they don't. But whatever. Okay.
No sense.
I do like they do rake up a bit of history though. I must admit, and Cody's promo isn't too bad. He talks about when
they beat the Shield,
and the history that they've had. So that's fair enough. Triple H walks in again and
what's going on here, fellas?
What's all this?
It does piss me off, but he makes the time.
Why are you all in my office, damn it?
Yeah. Right, so later on, Dave, letting your hair grow is the wrong idea for you. As your bald patch is much more on show. Cody is so fluid.
Did that talk to you?
Can I just say, before the match, Cody and Goldust entrance theme it's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Except for the Allied Powers, it's the worst thing.
I couldn't remember any of these, but when I heard it, I thought, whoa! Just got Goldust singing and it just...
I don't remember that when I heard it. I thought, oh, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely awful.
What was this?
They fucking lost steam so quick.
Oh, it's terrible.
This ain't long before Stardust, is it?
This leads to Stardust,
Yeah.
I think. All this shit. Awful theme.
Cody, Cody is very
Take
fluid.
your AEW up your ass.
Goldust is cornered and Orton goes for a scoop slam, but Goldust shows him how to do it. Nick Lawler fills us in on that the Road Brothers are apparently having problems. Are they about to split?
I think he's teasing that them because he's saying Cody's the weak link or something, so he's going to get a partner and then...
They say, I'm going to get you a partner, and then it turns out to be Mr. Stardust.
Mm-hmm.
Bring me a...
When at the time, I always remember saying it should be Booker T.
Bring me a new company.
Goldust gets the hot tag and does eat a spinebuster by Batista for a 2. We go to break and we come out of it with Goldust paint all gone and he's isolated in the corner. Goldust gets a few hope spots and hits a diving back elbow. Finally makes the tag. Cody hits the disaster kick on Batista. Goes for it on Orton, but bounces into an RKO, which was lovely. Second one lays Cody out for the 3. Justin Roberts, though, announces that now this is an elimination match, and for the remainder of the match is also no holds barred. So it's a handicap match. They corner Goldust and toss him around the ringside. Goldust tries to battle back, but no good. He gets speared RKO, and a Batista bomb to finish him off. And Batista and Orton have won. The show would round out with the contract signing. I did stop you having to watch a third Evolution beatdown of the Shield, though.
Did anybody get through the table?
Yes, I think.
Probably right.
Yeah, I think Batista.
So it was a table with a black clock, because if it was the one with like the grey thing underneath, that's a proper table, so that just gets tipped over.
I'm almost certain someone went through it.
Okay, fair enough.
You can go back and watch it if you want, Sam.
No, this took me 3 sittings. I don't want to have a fall.
I do actually think quite like the match, I must admit, because it's probably at this point something very different this late in the day of the podcast.
Oh my god, there's somebody else?
I did quite like it. And Goldust and Cody, good workers, good tag team. They had a lot more legs. They could have done a lot more than what they ended up doing with them.
Yeah.
And we might be back for them. But yeah, I thought it was a good match though. And I did like the fact that Triple H has sort of shown what could happen if they managed to isolate some of the Shield. So at least there's continuity.
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, good match. Obviously, Goldust is very, very, very good. Cody is getting better at this point.
Yes.
Obviously, he's a lot better now, even without his silly tattoo and booking. But the match was good. I like the fact that they're split it into the elimination tag to get over the thing at Payback. Don't know why they made it no DQ, because nothing happened with Chain.
Nothing at all.
It's just that one was just beat him up anyway. And then
It just means we can beat him outside for 11 seconds.
Batista had a little girl yell before the Batista bomb, which I liked. But overall, tried to claw back some dominance from Mr. Dave.
Yeah, Dave. Like I said, Dave, from the moment Mania finishes, he's irrelevant to his own podcast here.
Yeah.
Sam?
It was a good match, and it was Goldust was really the MVP of this. He is so good at this, even at this point.
Still good though, and
It's ridiculous how good he is.
He is so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, we move forward to Payback 2014. We get a promo package for our main event of Payback and the birth of Bluetista.
Yeah.
Yes, Bluetista is out. Bootista, Bootista, them all there. This guy does love his nicknames. He does look very Papa Smurf though, I must admit. The Shield get a pop as they come through the crowd. I hate no DQ 6-man tags that then descend into tag
To a tag match.
Yeah.
Just get in, there's no DQ.
Why would you
It
stand
makes
there?
no sense after.
So instead of a match
there's a
descending
spot.
into a brawl descended into a match.
Rollins,
I got that. Brawl descends into a match.
yeah. Rollins,
I thought it was like Tornado.
Yeah.
And then when I saw them all get on the air, I was, what's this?
oh, God. Rollins hits a nice spin kick on Triple H. We end up around the arena. Bluetista is taken out into the set. There's far too much action going on, so I've got no chance of keeping up on the notes. Ambrose is tossed over the barrier. We descend back into a tag match, which really makes little sense. Rollins does a nice HBK bump in the corner. It's a single leg drop kick by on Orton. Reigns takes over and beats down Batista. Batista, though, gets back into it with a spine buster. The big matchup here is definitely Roman Reigns and Triple H. Just remember that in 2 years' time. Reigns gets the better of the contest early on.
Oh, God, hindsight's a brilliant.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And not 2 years prior, fans have been saying, "You joke, that's going to be an amazing."
2 years later, boom! Oh my God! Not again!
Ambrose is eventually isolated. Triple H takes his corner bump though, which he always does quite nicely. Why this is no DQ? This is the thing that bugs me, because he's isolated in the ring, ready to make the hot tag. Triple H has took the bump outside. Orton and Batista, it's no DQ, spend all the time trying to get Triple H back in because he's apparently legal to stop the hot tag, instead of just stopping it.
Yeah.
Or they could just go in and drag him over. Nothing could happen. This is why it's so stupid. Ambrose hits a clothesline on the ropes. What is his bounce off the ropes into the clothesline spot called?
I don't think it ever had a name.
I don't think it had a name, but the more you saw it, the less impressive it was.
Good point.
Reigns gets a hot tag and we descend into chaos. The drive-by never gets old. Superman punched by Batista, but Orton stops the elimination of him. Rollins is turned upside down on an Irish whip attempt. Triple H clocks Rollins with something metal, as per Jerry.
What was it? What is it?
That's what someone asked Jerry Lawler what it is, and so Jerry Lawler went, "It was something metal." Jerry, get back to your colouring. Evolution now isolate Reigns outside and clear the Spanish announce table. Eventually, Reigns is powerbombed through it. We spill up the aisle, and the lighting set is used. Triple H uses a chair on Rollins and Ambrose. There's a back body drop onto the chair, which does look quite sore, and the pedigree onto the cement and the chair. Evolution spot arousing Reigns in the ring and surround him. Best spot I thought of the... he was rousing. He was awakening. The steel steps are brought in and kendo sticks are given to...
I think you'll know what we mean when you listen to that.
Oh, did I say
you said Evolution back in the ring, arousing.
He was going through this shit. I'm going to try this, brother.
Was he doing that with his arm?
Oh, yeah, brother. I must admit, I did like the rehashed Tommy Dreamer spot as the sticks, the back of Roman.
We got a
Reigns
stick.
Exposed. He did definitely take him though.
He did.
See the marks on his back. Reigns manages to crawl up the aisle. Orton hits a DDT on Ambrose, but Rollins from the top of the set dives onto.
Stop it!
The two groups brawl back inside. Batista catches Rollins midair with a spear, goes for a Batista bomb, but Rollins rolls through and Reigns hits him with a spear for a 3. So first eliminated is Batista. There's an RKO by Orton on Rollins, but Reigns saves him. He's set up by Orton for vintage, but dirty deeds onto the chair. The vintage Orton.
Oh.
I think that's what it's called, so that's why I always write it as. And Ambrose eliminates Orton. Triple H is alone, but he hits a low blow on Ambrose. Orton slides in the sledgehammer for Triple H. He manages to clock Ambrose, but Rollins hits a springboard knee, and Roman Reigns hits a spear for a 3. 45 minutes later.
Is it that long?
Yeah. Anyone? Obviously with entrances, but yeah, 45 minutes.
It was very long. I think
too long for me.
It was again too long. But and it's like they put everything, and then it's like they don't even space the eliminations. That was all right at the end.
Yeah, I don't mind too much about that because I mean it doesn't make a great deal of sense when you've sort of made out that like the team that gets the advantage can have a bit of fun with the others like before, and then they don't.
Yeah.
But the issue I had is that the tag team portion of the match was about 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
And you didn't learn anything.
No, it was a bit pointless, that bit.
Yeah. I mean, if that had started it, even though I don't agree with the logic behind it, I could have just accepted it. But it happened after a brawl anyway. So
well,
I just thought
as well,
this wasn't as good as the Extreme Rules.
And as well, because it being Extreme Rules, you'd have thought this stipulation would have been on Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And the other match would have been on this, and you could have had one fall for it.
Possibly. I think they wanted this to be the blow-off of the feud. And at this point, there is no way to go back. Roman Reigns, though, I mean, he just put over so heavy here. But yeah, it was okay, just not as good as the others. Jack?
Yeah, nowhere near as good as Extreme Rules. I think it's a big advocate of why concept pay-per-views don't work, because Extreme Rules is there and then Payback's here, but you should have switched them round, but because of the name of the concept you couldn't really, which makes no sense.
That's why you're completely right. Concept pay-per-view
because you have to insert a stipulation into a match for no reason with other feuds, like Hell in a Cell or something like that. So, well, they don't need it, why fucking use it?
Yep.
So you water down all your concepts, but that's just another podcast.
Yeah.
The match was not as good as the other one. There was too much nonsense at the start. Why them tagging in and out makes no sense. Then it started to get good. Ended out okay. Don't mind the quick eliminations at the end with the Shield. I like the fact that Roman won. I like the fact that they did the clean sweep, which sort of puts them over and ends Evolution. But ultimately, I think it's just not as good as the other one. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I hate this match. But maybe it's because they are a month apart in real time. But obviously, when you're doing a podcast, you're watching it within an hour of each other. You're doing it all in order.
Yeah.
So you have got that fresh in your mind.
And it feels longer.
They recycle a lot of spots.
Unless you watch this on its own. If you've watched 4 or 5 segments leading up to this, it feels like this is 45 minutes longer than it is anyway. When I watched
this felt longer than
it felt like a slog to watch it.
I watched the Extreme Rules in this back to back.
When they got to the ramp beats and everything, and them sort of waiting around, and then Seth does the dive, which is not as impressive as the last one. It makes you feel like, fucking hell. So there was bits that was disappointing.
Yeah, I agree with you though. Whenever you watch anything in a vacuum, you've got to bear in mind that if you've always got a week to forget what has happened, it isn't. But ultimately, you have also got to take it on its merits. And just watching this, I don't think this would have been, if you hadn't have watched Extreme Rules, I don't think I'd have been saying this was a brilliant match even without Extreme Rules. But with Extreme Rules, it stands out as not as good.
Yeah, not as good.
So we move forward to the 3rd of June and our last segment on the Batista podcast as Evolution open up our show. Triple H has a shiner. He says that Shield may think they've won, but this is not over because he doesn't lose, and he won't be over until the Shield no longer exists. Dave Batista takes his mic, looking like an extra from Wolf on Wall Street. He wants a one-on-one championship match that he was promised. Triple H gets annoyed and say he's the boss because he can see the bigger picture. Dave Batista doesn't care about the Shield. He wants his match. Give him what he wants. Give him what he wants, damn it.
That's not what I want.
Triple H reminds him Daniel Bryan is injured, so even if he could give him a shot, he couldn't. And even if he did, he'd probably choke. Triple H ends telling him that it ends when he says it ends. Batista says, I understand. Quits. And then does the weird
Queen wave.
Why does he do the Queen?
I don't know.
I don't get that. What's he referencing?
I don't think he's. I think he just. I don't care anymore. Anymore. I don't care, Batista.
Later on, he is in the back and he said everything is crap. crap and crap. It is done.
He wants to come back now.
Oh God. It's the only way you get over though. He wouldn't get booed.
I don't know, that's still piping the boot.
I've just put one line. Even that was a bit rubbish.
It was.
That was my thoughts on that.
Well, they could have just let him spine buster him or something, or
turn on and leave. Triple H fires him. Yeah. Then he gives you that build to give him what he wants later.
Well, give me what I want. That's not what I want.
You could probably do that as well, but I mean, this was. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird. It felt fitting for what they'd give him.
Definitely. It was the end that this deserved.
That it deserved, yeah.
Sam, the weird queen, your final thoughts. Sam's final thoughts.
And now for my final thoughts.
It was weird. The fact he quit. But also later on in the night, what happened with the Shield as well? Because this is the night out when Seth turns.
Yeah.
So it's like, you look at all this, and then all this happens. And so nothing made sense. Nothing meant anything. Yeah. This whole storyline, even going back to the Rumble, Batista coming back, now he's fucked off.
Yeah.
But the Shield being so dominant, beating up Evolution, now Seth's kind of joined with Evolution.
Yeah. I kind of understand the logic and the sense of him giving up the Shield to be with the Authority because he wanted to get ahead. But I think the issue that I have with this is that Dave Batista is involved in 2 pivotal things that happened in that year, which is the birth of the Yes Movement and Daniel Bryan and the breakup of the Shield. And he matters so little to any of it.
And he was the least important part of it.
He literally is so irrelevant to everything. And if anything, he just adds confusion to it all.
You're the reason we can't follow it.
Him being there just confused everyone.
So there you have it. 2 hours later, and Dave Batista is gone for another 5 years. And as Jack quite prophetically said, we may be back. So, match of the run, Sam.
The one against Cody and Goldust.
I thought you should say Del Rio.
Evolution versus the Road Brothers is mine as well.
Extreme Rules.
I think that's a
mine.
worthy winner as well.
I'm number 2.
Worst match of the run?
Del Rio. The Elimination Chamber.
I put the Batista Orton going into Mania, where Triple H and Stephanie ruin it on commentary.
Rumble.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
Just for storyline purposes, not for work purposes, but storyline purposes.
Yeah, it just
makes no sense.
MVP.
He's the one.
Backle.
Of course.
It's definitely Roman Reigns, without a shadow of it. We're not trying to be funny. It is Roman.
I'd probably agree. I'm struggling with one. If I had to pick one, it probably would be Roman.
It'd be Roman, but the biggest, saddest thing I could say is second is probably Goldust.
Yeah.
He's only in a minute.
That's ridiculous.
He was in a minute, got his arse kicked, and he's better than a lot of it.
Yeah, Bryan was the person I wrote first, and I replaced him with Roman.
I think it's Roman. You see the rise of him, do you?
Yeah, without a shadow of it.
And the very quick fall.
I'll put dud of the run / headline of the run. Reason we're doing, I've just put wrong person at the wrong time. And you can be wrong and wrong, double wrong. But yeah.
Well, when you said that, the dud of the road, I was just going to say Batista.
Fair enough.
There's a reason we're doing this.
And I think as well, the one thing I've realised from this run is I almost hate Batista as much as I do Sting, because he's just so overrated.
No, you gotta love Dave for how goofy he is.
He's better when he's heel, Dave, but I don't like his matches. I can't remember watching any of these kind of matches.
Any match he leads, I would say, isn't brilliant. You know, I mean, his take a match at 23 is brilliant.
Yeah.
but
Every Triple H won it to Hell in the when he fought him Hell in his Cell was just amazing. See, he had more better matches than Sting, but he's heading towards it. He needs to sort himself out.
He's retired now. There's no more Dave.
You're not going to see Dave on AEW.
You don't know.
I would say with Dave, completely the wrong time to come back. If he come back a year before or a year after.
A year later, he either would have been the big face because everybody was sick of Roman, but it's just the fact that Bryan was what everybody wanted. And they thought, did you say Batista? It began with a B.
This was sort of the time where you could say they could have moved away from part-time so much.
Yeah.
But they're stuck with it, and then they've sort of
been
paying the price for the next 6 years.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say that's what they've been doing, haven't they?
100% agree with you, because, I mean, if you think about it, if they didn't put over Daniel Bryan, you would have had Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker, who was part-time, and Batista potentially beating Orton, who was part-time. And Triple H potentially beating CM Punk. So, well, welcome to the WWE. I had lost all the will to live after this podcast, so my rebooking is not as lengthy as I would have hoped. So I am going to open, as we always do, with rebooking of Dave Batista. So I've got him returning at the Royal Rumble. It's built in promo style, basically. We're told that he's here to promote his movie, nothing else. So he has a segment during the show thanking the fans for backing him and pimping the Guardians of the Galaxy. Meanwhile, in the build to this...
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
In the build to this, Daniel Bryan... But Daniel Bryan has qualified for the Royal Rumble by beating Bray. Tells Triple H backstage that he's going to... leave him with no choice. The B-plus player is going to headline the WrestleMania in a small segment in the back. So he's pissed off. Triple H later meets with Batista. They embrace. He said he was glad to give him a favour to allow him to pimp his film. But he wants one favour in return. Fade away of segments. Later, Daniel Bryan is in the Rumble, kicking ass, eliminates the Authority lackeys until number 30 is Dave Batista. He eventually eliminates Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble. Triple H is out to shake his hand, and Batista looks up at the Mania sign but doesn't point at it. He just has a look up at it.
I don't point.
Yeah. Next night on Raw, Triple H announces that the Elimination Chamber now has been signed for the number one contender for Orton at Mania, because the winner of the Royal Rumble doesn't work for the company. So Batista though comes out. And Triple H thanks him again, thinking, nice to see you back. Batista, though, says that he's decided that since he won the Royal Rumble, he is going to cash in his headline match at WrestleMania. Triple H laughs it off, but Batista tells him that legally he won the Royal Rumble, so he has to give him a title shot. Triple H says that that's true, but you don't actually work for us. So Batista says, well, either he can give him the title shot, or he'll give it to Daniel Bryan. It's up to him. And Triple H gets pissed off and agrees to Dave Batista being at Mania. Orton is furious with this and pushes Triple H backstage. Triple H snaps and books Orton into the Elimination Chamber, which allows me to consciously deal with the fact that Orton has been booked into an Elimination Chamber.
Because I
fucking hated that booking. Batista then would be targeted by the Shield and the orders of Triple H. He'll love this match. But they turn on Corporate Kane. So at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, it's Kane, the New Age Outlaws, and Jack Swagger. That's it. I couldn't think of anyone else. I was tired at this point. Versus Batista and the Shield, and they win. Batista would now start to get annoyed around the fanfare with Daniel Bryan a little bit. They'd have a tag match. He'd turn on Daniel Bryan basically. And then it would just carry on as it was, because I want Daniel Bryan to win, and I don't mind the matches at WrestleMania either, so I'm happy from there. Post-Mania, Batista would be angry at the fans and the fact one-on-one Daniel Bryan can't beat him. This would lead to the Extreme Rules match between Bryan and Batista, so I don't have to deal with Kane turning back into a demon. Bryan would win this match at elimination at Extreme Rules though. Batista would demand another title shot, but not get it, so he would take out Daniel Bryan. This would allow him to have his surgery, which eventually would lead to his injury. Batista would demand the title once it's up for grabs, but Big E Langston would rush out and attack Batista for taking out Daniel Bryan, which would basically start a mini feud with them, culminating in Batista doing the job on his way out of the company in that payback for Big E.
Big E?
Yeah, and that's basically my way of rebooking Dave Batista.
Big Eck.
Yeah.
Big Eck.
So Big E gets the rub. He's rubbing his oil. Sam, I assume yours is shorter than that.
It's actually one of the longer ones, and I've managed to book a lot of different stories all at once.
Settle yourself in, Ricky Ortiz, clearly.
I've not booked about 10 years. I've just booked all different stories at once.
Okay.
So I would keep the story with the Bryan and the Authority from like SummerSlam when he cost the belt a number of times. And you would have Bryan v. Bray having a Royal Rumble qualifier on the show, and Bryan would win, as normal. So keep all that story of him joining and whatever. Bryan would be in the number 28 spot, and when he's due to come out, his music could be playing, but he won't come out. Cut backstage, and he's out. He's done. And then Triple H is looking over him and say, well, we've got to have somebody in there. And then Batista's music plays, not announced or anything, so he comes out as a surprise and takes his place. And Batista would actually win the Rumble as normal, eliminating Roman, and he's booed. Keep him a heel, don't have him as a
You can't book the booing.
You can't book him, but yeah, keep it like that. Cena would beat Orton at the Rumble to win the title.
Okay.
So at WrestleMania 30, at the minute, is Batista v Cena for the world belt. So you can have a little bit of story like Cena beat Batista at 26 for the belt. So he wants to get it. Because of Cena and all that, so you can carry that on. Bryan would come back and obviously be revealed that Batista was the one that took him out. So he said he's tried fighting him, so he's going to do it in a way that the Authority understand and take legal action, because he was legally signed for the Rumble and Batista wasn't, so he should get the title match. The board of directors are worried that Triple H is losing control and he's going to get sued, so he's got to give Bryan what he wants. So Triple H and Cena, being the good guy he is, have him in here, I can fight them both, what have you. Triple H says, Cena would do that, wouldn't he? Bad them both, And obviously because as well, Cena lost to Bryan, and then Bryan lost to Orton because of Triple H, so you can play off that story as well. Triple H would say, okay, the compromise is you can get your title shot at Mania, but you've got to fight me first. If you beat me, then you win it. If not, that's it, it's done. Mm-hmm. So he says, okay, and then Bryan would win at Mania and be added into the triple threat, into the match with Cena and Batista. Batista, you can still do the promo of saying this is what a real superstar looks like, and actually say he's the hired gun for the Authority, because there's been a lot of failure, so they come to a real superstar who's gone over to Hollywood, who's proper. The word superstar and all that. So Bryan would win again against Triple H and win the belt at Mania. The Wyatts would actually fight the Shield at Mania, and the Wyatts would cost Cena the world belt, because then you can carry on the Cena-Wyatt feud then, and that way it stops Bray losing to Cena at Mania and killing him.
Don't go for that.
Yeah, so, and as well, the Shield was fighting the Outlaws and Kane at Mania. Given the Wyatts, at least people wanted to see that. So move that to Mania.
I mean, the real hired gun at that point was Billy Gunn, was it?
I don't know. It was a backfiring gun. But there's all links in as well.
Okay.
Somehow.
To Billy Gunn?
Not to Billy Gunn. No. He's not Velma. So Batista would have his title match on Raw after, but would lose because of the Shield. The Shield would say they're unhappy because they had to take care of the Wyatts, because the Wyatts didn't take care of Bryan. And the Shield was hired by the Authority to protect them, but behind their back, Triple H was sort of doing other deals with the Wyatts to try and get rid of Bryan. Yeah. And then they brought in Batista, and Batista last eliminated Roman, costing them.
God, you thought about this one?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I told you. So,
bit Coco beware.
I don't know.
And then refill
so that's why they cost Batista.
Okay.
Now, so you keep the Shield and Evolution thing, because I thought I've got to get Orton in it somehow, so he can still be the lackey and whatever and be in it. Keep that up until the 3rd of June. Batista would actually beat Ambrose for the US because of Flair. Because I think you need to keep Flair. You can be the manager. With him, so he can fight.
Flair was loved when he was a heel.
Yeah, exactly. So have like Batista be Ambrose instead of the battle royal nonsense. He'd have him fight Batista and then have Flair cost him, because then as well he might get some heat on Flair. So Batista's the US now with Flair. The Extreme Rules match keep the same and keep the Shield winning. That's fine. Batista would still keep the US belt obviously because of Flair, but you can sort of subtly tell he ain't happy. With it, although he's a champ, he's still not happy because it's not the belt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
what a bit.
Yeah, he don't get that far. Yeah, but he's not happy because he was promised the world belt. More on that later. Keep the no DQ elimination match at Payback, but what I would do is have it start. Batista would be the first one in and have him go out really quick.
Okay.
Like some surprise rope and gone. So he's out, so he's 3-on-2 for the majority of the match. Then the night after, you keep the similar promo. Triple H and Batista would be arguing and saying, well, you dropped the ball, you was the first one out when we meant to come back from this. And Batista saying, well, you promised me the world belt, not the US belt, to take care of Bryan. I've done that, where's my title shot? And Triple H said, well, if you don't like it, you can just hand me the belt then. And he gives him the belt, and he goes, oh, by the way, you're fired. So he fires Batista then, so obviously he can lead up to that. And then the US, that can do whatever with it, so that's a way of just getting rid of Batista. And at least he's sort of a face, and it's a way of getting the US off him.
Who did take the belt off?
Sheamus. And then Rusev took off. I mean, they led to
that Raw thing on the network.
Sam,
you must have just finished that, didn't you?
I don't know, well, I started it.
Yeah, you did that. This is the one I had least.
I actually did this before I finished watching everything. Because I had an idea. And then I kept thinking, well, I could lead it to this. So I was like, this is actually my best rebooking.
I think it is.
So, there you go.
Jack, what of that?
You should have got last.
Took a whole page.
I normally give viewers the piss break.
I wouldn't change a lot. That's just put version in. Right.
Any man with a pen can rebook. Go to at least one.
Royal Rumble. Mr. Bryan is the last one in, 29.
Yeah.
That's not the last
He ain't 29, he's like number 1.
Oh, right.
He's number 1, Triple H.
But by
number
29, yeah.
Number 30, by the 29th, he's the only one in the ring. Number 30, Clock X0. Who is it? It's Triple H.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Have you got Batista?
I able to that off. Triple H is, comes out.
Give me what I want.
Thinks he's going to eliminate Bryan. They have a back and forth, blah, blah, blah. Bryan wins.
Okay.
But he thinks he's won. But then the clock hits 10. And everybody's like, what the fuck's going on here? Number 31. Who is it?
Billy Gunn.
It's obviously Fandango. No, it's Batista, who comes in and eliminates Mr. Bryan. And he wins the Royal Rumble.
You booked a 31.
Number 31. Brilliant. Batista was the insurance policy in case
Plan
anything
B.
went awry.
There's always
Mr.
a plan B.
Batista was number 31. Contractually, it was signed. He was 31. He's back. He's back. Just WWE needs a real man. And he's going to win the title at Mania. You don't mean little people like Daniel Bryan, who's little man. Not a dancer. Like me. Not take a sword.
He's the bully.
The week after on Raw, Bryan takes Raw hostage, like he does with all the fans. Triple H and Steph come out, and I'm going to fire him and everything, but then Vince comes out.
Ooh.
I've got more 3-eye Vince on the case. Vince. And he says, you've got to do what's best for business. That's your tagline. And what's best for business is at the Elimination Chamber. It's going to be Mr. Bryan versus Mr. Batista in a one-on-one. And if Bryan wins, he is added to the main event, because ultimately you can't take Batista out, because he did win the Royal Rumble and it is his shot. Elimination Chamber, Bryan would win. So he's in the triple threat. Raw after Batista is angry. Meh! Start falling out with Triple H. And
Is that what you do when you're angry? Meh!
Yeah, he goes, meh! Meh! Start falling out with the Authority. Bryan's always getting one up on him. The Triple H says he can't change Mania. It's contractually obliged that Bryan won the number one contenders. You won the Royal Rumble. Orton is the champion. It has to happen. But he can add to it. He's fed up with it. He's tired of all the shit. So it's going to be Orton versus Batista versus Bryan versus Triple H.
Ooh.
And I would hype.
It's like WrestleMania 2000, this.
I would hype that at WrestleMania 2000, the only other time they've had a fatal four-way,
Triple H.
Triple H won.
Very
I
good.
wouldn't have an Authority in every corner, because that doesn't make any sense.
One's got Noble, one's got Mercury, one's got Billy.
Well, he's got to fight Triple H in my eyes, because that's the Mania feud.
Yes.
Bryan would win the belts because Triple H, Orton and Batista, they would all work together at the start, but then they would all want the gold.
Madness.
So Mr. Bryan would pick up the win on Triple H, not Batista. Keep him strong. Batista is angry on the Raw after. He wanted a one-on-one. He ain't got his one-on-one. I was promised a one-on-one. Where's me one-on-one? Well, you can have your one-on-one at Extreme Rules, all right? Stop moaning at me.
There's a lot of one-on-ones.
So he's fighting Bryan at Extreme Rules for the belt. Bryan would win, retain the belt. He ain't fighting Kane in a fucking forklift.
God, that man.
He's fighting.
Now Brie Bella's squealing in the car.
Squealing, silly wench. He's fighting Batista.
Oh, I hated that.
Bryan wins. Thanks to Triple H by accident. You wouldn't mean it. I did. More dissension between Triple H and Batista. Oh my god. Now, Bryan does get injured.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah, I'm back. Payback.
No. But he was still
come
the
out
champ.
and have a promo where he's in a brace.
Because he
Sounds like when Stephanie comes out and acknowledges the CM Punk chance and says he something about quitting or whatever.
Just to bury him, basically.
Because I think he was in Chicago.
So, Mr. Bryan has given up the belt because of his injury. So at Payback, it was supposed to be Orton v Bryan. but it's going to be Orton v Dave Batista at Payback for the belt. Best for business. Orton would beat Batista thanks to double cross from Mr. Triple H. So I am now making Batista a face and Triple H is a heel. They would leave him laying after Payback. Orton is now champion again. Everything is right with the world. Batista doesn't appear until Money in the Bank, when Batista would return out of nowhere and cost Orton the belt against John Cena.
You haven't got to go up to 2019, you do realise that, Jeff.
Oh, you're joking.
Still here now.
You're joking.
Booking Raw Underground.
Oh my god.
So Batista returned, cost Orton against Cena. Cena won it in the Money in the Bank day for the belt.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Oh, that worries doofy face. That was when he won the case.
Case. And then the Raw after, Batista would keep disrupting the show and causing shit, and then he would challenge Triple H at SummerSlam to a one-on-one, which he would get, and he would beat Triple H at SummerSlam. And then I would say, retire. Don't come back after because you've done everything.
Yeah, you don't need to give him
that
what he
was
wanted.
what he had what he wanted, which was Triple H.
Deal with it.
So deal with it and retire now.
Yeah, there you go.
So
you booked him to retirement.
Well done. Well, I would just say, look, you've done now.
Yeah.
Nudge.
We
got to get David Sandow over.
Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
I don't know. I think that failed.
Oh, was that already happened?
Third one.
I get mid times mixed up. Now it's more than me.
We'll be back. But if you think you could have rebooked Dave Batista's return better, do let us know on our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, or our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCPOD, or our Twitter page, which is at BCCPOD. We round out the episode, as we always do, with a fantasy card. And what better way than to take the hashtags Bootista and Bluetista and turn them into a 6-match card. Anything to do with the colour blue or a boo, whichever way you wish to go.
A
boo, yes.
From Aladdin.
I focus.
Tiger Ali sings
I
henchman.
don't think of it.
I
Ecuadorian man.
focus solely on the colour blue. So
I did that, but I did have a couple of boos, but I went for the scary kind of boo as well.
Ooh, okay. I just went for blue. A boo.
Mine was mainly blue.
So my opening match from Rhythm and Blues is
Don't think of it.
the Honky Tonk Man versus...
No, Greg is the blue.
Well, from Rhythm and Blues, Greg Valentine, or also Blue Knight, Greg Valentine, and I am putting over Honky Tonk Man, because he'll walk out if I won't get
Turn it off.
What?
So,
My next one is the Blue Blazer versus the American Blue Blood, Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
it's true.
So,
WrestleMania 14.
Exactly. But no Slaughter handcuffed to China. Or Mr. Hughes. I'll put over the Blue Blazer. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
My first match is the BWO, obviously. It's a tag match though, so actually it can be all three in a handicap match against the Blue Brothers.
Yes. Jacob and Eli.
And I will put over the BWO because
Why not?
why not? There's three of them.
Well, to keep it interesting, I think I'll repeat exactly what you just said for my match too, which is the Blue Brothers versus Stevie Richards and the Blue Meanie of the Blue World Order. And I'm going to put over the Blue Brothers as well.
You did BWO.
Well, I'm putting over the
Putting them bastards over.
mounting.
Spoiler,
jumps.
no Blue Brothers on my card. My next match is a women's match. It is Blue Pants
Yes.
versus Vicky Guerrero. Because got booed a lot.
Yeah.
She had the biggest boos
Definitely.
ever.
Excuse
Did
me.
she?
Boo!
Eddie will haunt you for saying that.
Yeah.
You could have chose different people for
Sorry.
that.
But I will put over Blue Pants.
Fair enough.
I
That would
forgot
be a
what her actual
terrible
name
match.
is.
You haven't heard.
Lima Bate.
You haven't heard my match for Blue Pants yet.
I ain't up women. I couldn't think of any other blue.
No women!
My match 2 is Blue Wolf from New Japan
Yep.
versus Blue Demon. former NWA World Champion.
Yes.
And they'll put over Blue Demon. Was he a former NWA World Champion?
Yeah, it was. Well, Blue Demon
First
Jr.
masked wrestler to ever win the NWA title.
Lumini.
Pointless shit for you to know there.
Harley race is turning in his grave.
What the fuck is this? Mexican.
So my next match is Blue Pants versus Sapphire, which is a
colour blue.
Sapphire. That is worse. You did top Sam. Is it heel Sapphire?
The heel
$1 million man Sapphire, obviously.
with a big coat.
And because I can't imagine
Duggan's still looking for her.
I can't imagine.
There it is.
I can't imagine a situation where Sapphire will ever appear on a fantasy card ever again. I'm definitely putting over Sapphire.
1-0.
The streak. My next match is a 6-man tag.
Yeah,
It is the BWO versus, again, go with the scary boos, the Wyatts.
They are booey.
And they are in this as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll put it over the Wyatts. Because they will never be a day that I put over Nope. I do not like
what's wrong with
Nope. He's a dick.
That is a weird thing to hate.
I hate Sting. You hate Nova.
Like, Sting's a top star. Nova's just like pointless. Pointless hatred. So why do you hate
I
him?
don't know. I just don't like him.
Right, it's a
There you go.
Match 3.
At least Mark's logical. I could never hurt anyone.
Matt Morgan, the Blueprint.
Yes.
Versus
Pointless.
versus Zinkana Azul.
Oh, the blue one. Oh, I forgot
Zinkana
that.
Blue.
Yeah, Zoo means blue in Spanish.
Yeah. We love to educate.
It's not just funny, it's education.
And Matt Morgan is going to go over.
Yeah.
Why not?
Stuttering, mate.
Not with a shitty first blood match, though.
Well,
Not with a red sauce.
my next match is the Blue
I'll
Blazer.
read it anyway.
My next match is the Blue Blazer versus
Supernova.
who didn't appear in the Blue Brothers match earlier. And because I'm scared that Sam might stab me, I'm going to put over the Blue Blazer.
Fair enough. My next one, again, this is the last scary boo match, and it's a match. It's the Boogeyman, or the Boogeyman,
Boogeyman, yeah.
versus the Halloween Phantom,
Okay.
which is just Rick Rude in a match. And I'm putting over the Halloween Phantom.
You chose him, right? Of all of them. There's a lot of people who are scary boos. And you chose Halloween Phantom.
He could have chose Boogeyman versus like a Boogie Nights. Disco.
I did think about them, but I thought I don't know how to shoehorn them in.
There? Instead of Rick Rude in a match.
I'm still having Rick Rude in the match. God damn it.
Crazy man. My match 4 is Yuji Nagata.
I used up all my creativity on the Reebok.
Yuji Nagata, who is nicknamed Blue Justice. Versus
Now then.
Blue Panther, which is an old Mexican wrestler.
Oh.
Yep.
And I'll go with Yuji Nagata.
My next match is Blue BWO Japan, which appears
BCW, Dick Togo and Taka Michinoku.
Koyento.
yeah.
Versus Black Panther, sorry, not Black Panther, versus Blue Panther Senior and Blue Panther Junior.
Father and son.
Where's Cat Stevens?
They are losing to Dick to go. And,
Paul Blue,
Taka
they would
Michinoku.
turn up for that.
Fly over for that.
I know, we wouldn't.
I'll tell you one person, one Mexican who ain't turning up to do the job.
No, Mill.
No yarn.
No yarn.
My next match is tag match. It is the Blue Bloods. Regal. He's got to get on somehow.
He always
and Bobby
gets on everything.
exactly. Versus the Dudleys from ECW.
Well, I did definitely
That did get
some boost.
Well, that was their theme, or it. That they have ones of the
Sal from Thingy tells a story about when he called Bubba Ray fat and he got scared because he thought he was getting beaten up by ECW.
He's an angry man. Very, very heelish.
Because I listened to the November to remember, and I said I like the Dudleys, but it's Regal as well. I'm putting over Regal.
Regal always
Bobby.
wins.
He's got to win. He got to win.
My match 5 is Sami Zayn, who does the Blue Thunder Bomb.
Oh, he does?
Is that the only move he can do?
It's the only move we can only do a spinning film versus the Blue Blazer. And I will put over Sami Zayn.
My main event, quite fittingly, is Bootista versus the Blood Triple H.
Give me what I want. Not what I want.
That would have been a better Mania 35 or whatever it was.
It does feel like a weird card leading up to Batista versus Triple H.
You wait till now, mate.
But yes, I'm putting that with Bootista. He deserves to go over at the very least on our podcast.
My next main event is Batista, Bluetista, versus Blue Demon.
Oh.
Is Blue Demon Jr.? That was the NWA.
I think he was.
Yeah. Either or. I'll put over Batista.
Just put them both.
Put them both in it.
My main event is Bluetista versus the Blue Knight, which is great. That's a slight one.
Yeah, well, he was I was thinking, who could I put against him? I just thought,
Blue Knight, why not? And Batista's going over.
We will see that night.
Batista v Greg would be a great match. Let's all be honest. We want to see it.
I'm sure Rob Conway v Greg, and I think I want to see Batista v Greg.
Well, I haven't. That's it.
It's on heat.
That'll be our next podcast.
What the heck? I think Rob Conway fought Coco the week before.
What an awful heel.
It's when he did the legend thing, because on the Taboo Tuesday he fought Eugene and Kamala in a handicap match.
I don't understand how we've ended up here, but if
Nothing makes sense.
you had any other derivatives of Boo or Blue that you would have incorporated into our fantasy card, do let us know on our
fucking life.
Facebook page. On our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BCCPOD, our website, which is bettercallcreative.com, or our Twitter page, which is @BCCPOD. That rounds out our episode, but we will be back in the month of February with 2 future podcasts as we are checking out Super Showdown 2020. What could you possibly do with that super heel that you have? The Fiend is going up against Goldberg. And we are also doing another character profile. We are checking out the Texas Tornado. Excited about Texas Tornado? So?
Yeah. It's different. Yeah.
Something different?
Yeah, something different with my era.
What about Goldberg versus the Fiend?
No. You just have to ruin it. Yeah.
I have to remind you
You're
that
an
we
awful,
review.
awful man.
I have to remind you we review shit. But there you have it, folks. That leaves me to say goodbye from Bootista himself, Sanjay.
Deal with it.
Bootista himself.
I don't think there's any other catchphrase.
Goodbye. Goodbye, folks.